Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. All people. Soul Puppet Master. God-level talent at the beginning. Chapter 51. Li Shui mourned for the students for a few seconds, but luckily her judgment was correct. Not only mixed a set of Abyss sets, but also 1-to-1 nanny single brush upgrade. Happy. There are also 3 waves of new students marching into the Abyss Valley, and the number of them is all in units of 10. Mo Yifan rode a griffin to explore the way in midair, followed by a dozen freshmen sweeping the surrounding monsters. In the desert area 30 kilometers away from him, Su Xiao led the way under the scorching sun without any haste. Fighting maniac Han Xiaoxiao looked at the hunter leading the team with a bewildered expression. Emotionally, she met a road idiot hunter. The whole team circled around for most of the day. I'll give you 10 minutes, and if you can't find a way to leave, I'll send you a free teleportation. Han Xiaoxiao grinned and said to the Lukai hunter beside him. Big sister, I did my best. This is the psychedelic forest, and it should be a natural formation barrier. Although hunters are road idiots, their detection skills are not in vain. Han Xiaoxiao slapped the useless thing away, and then the double blades flew up and down, directly cutting off all the trees by their roots. Half an hour later, she cut down the natural psychedelic forest with great strength. Looking at a battlefield not long after walking out of the psychedelic forest, Han Xiaoxiao immediately smelled the smell of fighting. Hereafter a team battle of at least 10 people. Go quickly, maybe you can catch up with them. Thinking that there is a battle to fight, I immediately became interested. Those who followed her were all freshmen from Nanfang province, no matter old or new along the way. They were all sent away by Han Xiaoxiao and others. Although there are sacrifices on one's own side, overall points are definitely earned. The big sister is big, the situation is wrong, all the monsters within a radius of 1 kilometer have been killed. You mean we have nothing to blame? Well, and according to my analysis, there are at least 40 or 50 people on the other side, or even more. So many people. Could it be Mo Yifan? Could it be Yi Bi? He is the number 1 in the country, so he should have some appeal. Someone in the team raised a different opinion. Farts appeal, except for those from the province, who will be convinced. The exam is not a real person PK, otherwise Yi Bi may not be able to win the national champion. Quote. That's right, when it comes to PvP, our big sister is number 1 in the country. It wasn't that these people deliberately praised Han Xiaoxiao. Rather, each of them has been educated by Han Xiaoxiao more than once. Totally beat that. I can't do it. I'm getting excited. Hurry up and find that Yi Bi with me. Han Xiaoxiao's eyes were shining, and his face was refreshed, as if he had an orgasm. Seeing this expression, all the boys below couldn't help but blush. A few of the opposite gender went directly to the grove to solve the problem. The beauty of Han Xiaoxiao is the kind of wild beauty that can never be conquered. Yi Bi in front of him still doesn't know what kind of existence he is being targeted by. At this time, he was leading his Skyfree Legion to sweep the level 27 area. In order not to miss experience, he spread out the combination of Skywrath warriors along a semicircle. In this way, although the advance speed is slow, it can kill more monsters to a greater extent. Yi Bi, freshman, plus 108361. Sun Minged, old student, plus 40,895. Cheng Yuanyuan, old student, plus 34,870. Mo Yifan, freshman, plus 33,509. Gong Shulei, freshman, plus 29,743. There are already 3 freshmen in the top 5, and Yi Bi even broke through the 10W mark. Gong Shulei, apart from flirting with his sisters, has never done much to fight monsters. It's time for the gang of Tiankui clubs to clean up. Quote. These are the bottom members of Tiankui, and there are still a few good seedlings among the 30+. Gongshu Shongyun not only won the gold level throne, but also rushed to level 40 not long ago. Tiankui and some old clubs are able to show off their wrists, and the principal also agreed to his application to enter the main battle group. Quote. Level 40. A qualitative leap. The sky will be the main battlefield. All occupations will start flying skills at level 40. Of course, there is a special profession like Mo Yifan who becomes a dragon knight. You can also experience the thrill of flying early. However, it does not rely on skills but external forces. There is a special person in charge of the affairs of the association. We are only responsible for teaching tasks, so what to do with so much attention? Although Qin Yunfeng didn't like Gongshu Shongyan's personality very much, he was just talking about the facts. What Tiankui did was right. In the face of interests, each shows its means, which is also the law of survival outside the city. This is the reason why the flowers and plants in the greenhouse do not grow large. Han Xiaoxiao went to chase Yi Bi, now it's fun. Feng Wuji has always paid close attention to Han Xiaoxiao. This kind of bold and uninhibited, reckless fighting spirit suits his taste very much. Su Xiao is not bad, this kid is hard to endure. There is also the pair of Bingo sisters who love and kill each other, but teacher Qin may have already made an appointment. Qin Yunfeng smiled and said, you can also set conditions, and no one stipulates that mages must enter the Dharma temple. I heard that Leng Ruohan is Yi Bi's fiancé. I wonder if it's a smoke bomb released by Leng's family. Just a few days ago, the Leng family had another god-level member, I don't know how many generations. I heard that there was a lot of commotion at that time, and the entire Linhai city saw the abnormal appearance of heaven and earth becoming a god. Quote, it's been a long time since the Godhead dungeon ended this year. Didn't their family become gods by virtue of the dungeon Godhead? I don't know, and I haven't announced it to the public, it should be regarded as a secret weapon. Families are not the same as trade unions. They need mystery and inheritance, and it is impossible to make everything public. Quote, if Yi Bi is brought under the command of the Leng family again, wouldn't there be more gods in the future? He's still early, the first pass at 30, the second pass at 40, and then the throne and seal. If you want to hit the righteous position, you have to complete a series of tasks. Quote, that's right, how many arrogances are due to the lack of stamina in the early stages of ferocity, and finally wiped out all living beings. The mentors are used to seeing too many geniuses fall, and in their eyes Yi Bi is just better than ordinary geniuses. Han Xiaoxiao and Yi Bi are less than 3 kilometers away. One is violent soldiers, and the other is fearless in group battles. The more you kill, the braver you are. Looking forward to their encounter. Quote, this battle should be the freshman's internal struggle, the most exciting battle. Han Xiaoxiao didn't have any tracking skills, so he found Yi Bi's location entirely by relying on his understanding of combat. When she appeared, Yi Bi was eating barbecue with Meng Fei and Li Shui. After being tired for so long, it's time to reward yourself. Yi Bi, come to war. Han Xiaoxiao stood not far from the fire and shouted excitedly to Yi Bi. Psycho. Yi Bi felt that the girl who came was not mentally normal. Whatever you say, you can fight with me. After finishing speaking, Han Xiaoxiao rushed towards the King of Wrath of Heaven beside Yi Bi with his Shuangren. In her opinion, the danger factor of this puppet is higher than that of Yi Bi. It must be very cool to fight. Seeing the blood bar of the Sky Wrath King drop rapidly, Yi Bi knew that he had met a master. So he turned around and ran towards the dark place with the King of Wrath of Heaven. Doing it here might accidentally injure Meng Fei and Li Shui. Why did you run away? It shouldn't be. It's so dark, I can't see the situation clearly. Feng Wuji's face was almost stuck on the screen. He still couldn't see the specific situation clearly, but could only see countless silver puppets gathering from all directions. There is no small energy collision in it. And I saw rows of soul power flying swords flashing across the screen. The fight lasted more than 3 minutes. Finally, Yi Bi, who was a little embarrassed, came out from the darkness. Han Xiaoxiao disappeared without a trace. Obviously Yi Bi won, but it didn't look easy. Boss, what's the situation? It was the first time Meng Fei saw Yi Bi like this. That's a crazy woman. She threw sand and vomited blood during the war. I really convinced her. The blood on Yi Bi's body is not his, but Han Xiaoxiao's. As for the sand and dust on that face, it was naturally her handwriting. In fact, Yi Bi summoned many Skywrath fighters and still couldn't surround the opponent. It has been analyzed that the opponent's skills or talents must have a percentage of blood recovery. So group battles are useless to her. In the end, the Skywrath shaman put back the spring art, and the Skywrath mage took turns freezing Nova to control her before finally killing her in seconds. Of course, transforming into a Shadow King can also deal with the opponent, but he is really reluctant to part with the 24-hour CD. Yi Bi can think of many ways to deal with Han Xiaoxiao. However, due to time constraints, we can only adopt the fastest, most effective and safest way. Explosive soldiers are not impossible, but I am afraid that the opponent's blood-sucking ability is relatively special. Instead of killing the opponent, it would be a big joke to burst the other party's blood. Not long after Yi Bi came out, Han Xiaoxiao's Nan Fengtuan chased after him. After the two sides looked at each other, Nan Fengtuan fled around in an instant. Don't even try to run away. He was so embarrassed by Han Xiaoxiao just now, he had to vent his anger on these Nanfang group members. For a time, the whole forest let out howls of ghosts and wolves. The energy fluctuations of the battle are everywhere. Yi Bi explodes directly. If one doesn't work, just two. If two don't work, then 20. Anyway, rushing forward when encountering a Nanfang group is like burning your soul and self-destructing. In less than a minute, the entire Nanfang regiment was wiped out. Clean the battlefield, Yi Bi said to Meng Fei and Li Shui. I took out a few bottles of mineral water and began to wash my face and hair. Because it was already the fourth day, many freshmen lost their second lives. After being bombarded by Yi Bi, he could only explode the equipment and supplies on the ground. A lot of freshman equipment is standard equipment exchanged when entering the battlefield. Collected points can be exchanged for points at the end of the battle. I can't do it, boss, I can't fit in the portable space. Meng Fei has the lowest level and the smallest portable space. Just more than 30 pieces of equipment and some supplies are full. I can still hold more than 20 pieces, why don't we give up the low-value materials? Li Shui's side is also full, so I can only suggest to give up. It's because Yi Bi's ability to spawn monsters is too strong, and most of the materials along the way are placed with her. Yi Bi's own carry-on backpack is already full. This won't work, I have to grab a few carry-on backpacks quickly, and I have to keep alive next time. Your brain is really extraordinary. Li Shui has gotten used to Yi Bi's unconventional character. Whatever he says, anything is possible. To sum it up in one sentence, anything is possible. Yi Bi didn't sleep in the middle of the night, and used a few owls to look for professionals. He really found a few of them. The old students are sent away directly, and the freshmen come up and ask if they want to be in the space. It made the other party think that he saw a mental illness. The result can be imagined. Looking at Li Shui's space was also filled. Yi Bi called Meng Fei over and whispered something to him. People think I'm mentally ill if I do this. I won't say it. Why don't you give up some things of low value, as the senior sister said. No, you are a waste, or how can you say that you are slow to upgrade? Don't look down on mobs with low experience, no matter how small the text is, it's meat. Quote. Yi Bi, who is used to thrift, will certainly not give up any spoils. Fortunately, Yi Bi met Leng Ruohan and Shuiqing, who came all the way early the next morning. Shuiqing acted like a beggar, a large lock of her hair was burnt. Leng Ruohan was stronger than her, but she also looked haggard. The moment he saw Yi Bi, Leng Ruohan immediately threw himself into his arms. Sniffing his scent greedily, it seems that only in this way can there be a sense of security. But after seeing Li Shui, the woman's intuition told her that this woman must have something for Yi Bi's side. You are Yi Bi, you are quite handsome, and Shuiqing has long red hair and big eyes like a cartoon doll. By the way, how many things do you two have in your portable space? Yi Bi almost forgot today's important task. It's nothing, I've used up everything I can, and there are only a few bottles of water left. Leng Ruohan didn't know what he was asking this for, so he answered truthfully. It's okay, come get me something. Yi Bi took out all kinds of equipment materials in the portable space. Looking at the equipment on the ground, there are countless potions. Shuiqing on the side rubbed her eyes. How many people will explode? Originally, Miss An was still a little unconvinced with Yi Bi. But after seeing the equipment and potions here, he immediately felt that he had found his thigh. Handsome, I'm free too. The corners of Yi Bi's eyes twitched. Why did this sound a little bit imaginative? Leng Ruohan glanced at this friend. Let's go. With the mobile warehouse, you can spawn monsters to your heart's content. Yi Bi is in a great mood, and according to the schedule, he can reach level 24 tonight. After the number of puppets tripled, the upgrade speed immediately increased a lot. Meng Fei and Lang Ruohan shared some news about the copy of the throne. Lang Ruohan offered to form a team with Meng Fei and Xueqing. 2 Skyrath shamans are in charge of milking Meng Fei. It is good. Yi Bi didn't say much. Anyway, it's her own principle not to be a babysitter. Even if Lang Ruohan has a marriage contract with herself. Are you going to the Abyss Valley inside? Lang Ruohan then asked about Yi Bi's plan. You know where it is. Lang Ruohan nodded and looked at Xueqing. The latter was immediately displeased and said, if she hadn't insisted on going through there to find you, we wouldn't have been ambushed there to use up our protection mechanism once. After some explanations, Yi Bi realized that the pair of enemies came from the opposite direction. All the way is to find yourself. As a result, he ran directly to the Abyss Valley, where he was chased by hordes of monsters for a day and a night. Then he was ambushed by Gong Shulei and Lao Sheng, who gathered at Taniguchi before dying. Coincidentally, the two who died unexpectedly met again in less than half an hour. There is no one with this probability. Are there a lot of them? Although Yi Bi didn't say anything, someone bullied Lang Ruohan. His fiancé has to pay back no matter what. 25 or 6, maybe there are some hidden in the dark that I haven't seen. And Xueqing recalled and said, go and clean up those people first, or they will wipe out all the monsters inside. Being robbed of experience once made him very unhappy, and if the monsters at level 29 were robbed a few more times, he wouldn't be crazy. In order to hurry, Yi Bi adjusted the formation of the Skyrath Legion from a semicircle to a straight line. Push it all the way. There are a few unlucky ones on the route he passed. Before he could understand what was going on, he was hacked by the tide-like Skyrath warriors and flashed white light. The 4 behind, including Meng Fei, were responsible for picking up the equipment and materials that were thrown out along the way. This is too cruel, but I like it. There is also the Abyss suit, which is much easier than brushing the secret realm. It was the first time that Xueqing experienced getting something for nothing, and she felt really refreshed. However, the speed at which the 4 of them picked things up couldn't keep up with Yi Bi's advancing speed. In the end, Li Shui had no choice but to sprint to the outermost area to pick it up. Where Yi Bi's Skyrath Legion passed was like locusts passing through. Yi Bi only rested for more than 3 hours at night. Advanced to the Abyss Valley overnight. In the early hours of the morning, he finally upgraded to level 24. But there was still no intention of stopping. Upgrading maniac, can you rest for a while? And Xueqing complained, rubbing her sore shoulders from picking things up. Yi Bi stood on a cliff until the first ray of sunlight rose from the horizon. In the distance is a piece of black scorched earth, with dead bones and charred trees visible here and there. The entire canyon twists and turns in an S shape, and finally leads to the dark abyss. Others finally came to this cliff and saw the scene in front of them. The canyon below is the Valley of the Abyss, and the innermost one is where the ultimate boss of this dungeon is. Li Shui said, pointing to the farthest dark abyss. Yi Bi used the crow in the sky to see the scene over there. In the middle of the S-shaped canyon is where the old students are. It cannot be seen in the depths of the abyss, but there are 3 places where the energy fluctuates greatly. What are those 3 places? Yi Bi asked, pointing to the positions of the 3 energy fluctuations. Li Shui took a look, but with her eyesight, she couldn't see anything at all. I can't see it, but I heard from the people in the formation hall. There are 3 unstable channels connecting with the outside world that are temporarily closed. And there is a very powerful boss guarding it. It should be where you said. Quote, outside world. The big world or other dungeons and secret realms are all outside compared to this place. Li Shui continued to explain. In fact, when you go to the seminary, you will know the difference between dungeons, secret realms, and abysses. The stable ones that have been conquered by professionals are dungeons and secret realms. What is unstable and impossible to change at any time is the abyss. Quote, the world book and the battlefield are a kind of abyss, and these are public books that all countries can enter. Similarly, abyssal monsters can also counterattack to the human world from here. Quote, and Xueqing nodded and said, so every year, professionals will fight the battlefield and the world book, just to clean up the abyss monsters inside and prevent them from controlling the world to counterattack the human world. Almost, but these places often mean opportunities, and stable dungeons and secret realms also mean that there are not many surprises. Just like the Abyss set we wear, as long as we have enough time and stay long enough below level 30, we will get a full set, right? But those who are capable will definitely not waste this time. Leveling up is the only way to become stronger. Yi agreed with her statement, turned and walked towards the path leading to the Abyss Valley. Since there are powerful bosses in those 3 places, it means that there is a huge amount of experience and unknown treasures. The first feeling when stepping into the Abyss Valley is the heat. The dryness of the air and the burning sensation from underfoot. It was like walking on the endless flames of the abyss of hell. As soon as he reached the first corner, Yi stopped suddenly. Several people turned their heads to look at him, not knowing what happened again. Someone is flying over on a griffin. As soon as his words fell, a griffin flew in the sky, and there was a person sitting on it. Mo Yifan also saw the people below, and immediately lowered his height and said, "There are old students blocking the road ahead, if you can't beat them, you should go." More than half of his people hung out of the battlefield directly, and the rest were randomly teleported away. Dragon Knight, Mo Yifan. And Xueqing recognized Mo Yifan, the man with glasses. Mo Yifan lowered his height again, and saw that the speaker actually recognized him. And Xueqing, Lang Ruohan, Yi. I didn't expect to be quite famous. If it's Yi, you can give it a try. But the old students have formation masters, so it's not easy to fight. Mo Yifan jumped off the griffin and said. Li Shui looked at the gentleman with glasses, and asked uncertainly, "Are you from the Mo family in Kyoto?" "If there is no other Mo family in Kyoto, then it is the Mo family you mentioned." Mo Yifan did not deny his identity. It's no secret in Kyoto circles anyway. It is not surprising that some people recognize themselves after entering and exiting Huasha Theological Seminary since childhood. Even you lost, it seems that Sun Ming and the others are well prepared. What's the name of this senior? Li Shui. Senior Li seems to be quite different. The alternative that Mo Yifan refers to the attitudes and practices of old students towards new students. I don't agree with Tiankui's people. The sophomore is Kanglong besides Tiankui. Could it be that senior sister is from Kanglong? You are quite familiar with the seminary. I am not, I am just a casual person. Mo Yifan didn't say any more, and looked at Yi. Are you going to challenge the group of old students? Challenge, they may not be qualified yet. Yi really didn't think highly of those local chickens and dogs. It's just a group of mobs. If it's really a matter of life and death, there is a high probability that half of them will run away. Can I go and have a look? Don't worry, I won't meddle in my own business. And I have enough points now. How much free space do you have in your portable space? Yi asked suddenly, and Xueqing rubbed her forehead for a while. This person was stunned. Mo Yifan was taken aback by the question, but nodded honestly. That's fine, you can help me get something later, and I will avenge you. No problem. Mo Yifan pushed his glasses and replied. Because of the rush of time, Yi didn't want to play any tactics. Just push it in the fastest way. But soul power consumption is a problem, so it is best to kill wild monsters together. Before doing it, use the crow in the sky to observe several monster-intensive areas. The sword and shield soldiers used to ambush, and once they fought, these would be soul power supplements and mobile bombs. With everything ready, Yi walked towards the second corner set by the old student. Here comes another person, get ready. The hunter in charge of stalking immediately shouted behind him. Just after a team battle, most people are taking advantage of it. Didn't expect this to happen again. But seeing that there were only 6 people coming, Sun Ming, who was in charge of the command, asked who wanted to go. The one-stick Ku Yang just now regained his confidence, got up and walked out. Together with him is Lu Yi, the hunter who first started fishing. The moment Ku Yang saw Yi, the fear of being dominated by the big force made him run away. Old friend, what are you running for? Yi waved his hand, and the Skyrath mages who were ready behind all fired a big fireball. Boom, boom, boom. More than a dozen large fireballs hit Ku Yang directly. This product didn't even have a chance to change form, and was sent out of the venue directly. Are these 6 people? Sun Ming quickly put down the combat power items being distributed, and rushed forward with his people. T-class first, support and long-distance output postponed, array mages open group double rounds, we must withstand the first wave. But looking at the volley of fireballs just now, at least 10 mages from the other side played the bottom line. Whether it can withstand the first round is very important. In just 3 seconds of sprint time, the support has already filled up the entire state. The legal system is ready to chant magic and welcome the first round of attacks. Sun Ming also saw the situation on the other side. 3 swords and shields. Why are there so many monsters from the abyss? Long-range group attack, T-class retreat, retract. After seeing hundreds of monsters, Sun Ming knew that there was something wrong with his previous tactics. His imaginary enemies have always been freshmen, all PvP. As a result, the opponent didn't play cards according to common sense, and someone was willing to sacrifice, leading a group of monsters to rush to the formation. Mo Yifan at the back pushed his glasses and sighed softly. Why didn't I think of that? Sure enough, stereotypes kill people. Seeing that the 3 sword and shield soldiers had entered the range of the formation, Yibi immediately burned his soul and detonated it. The 2 anti-riders at the front and 1 anti-war were blown up and their blood volume plummeted. Fortunately, when the terrain was first selected, it was in order to cooperate with the formation and the long range. The entrance of the formation is not wide, and no more than 10 monsters can rush over together. Increase blood. Increase blood. What are you doing for treatment? The 3 terraseconds roared. The double return of the array can't replenish their rapidly declining blood volume. With the yellow halo and various healing techniques falling, the 3 Ts were slowed down. Seeing all kinds of magic over their heads, the 3 of them looked at each other and put on a posture to meet the enemy. At this moment, the 3 of them were extremely excited, 3 against hundreds. Just ask, who else? However, the slap in the face came so quickly. The monsters in the front row suddenly exploded into blood mist after being knocked out of half of their blood remotely from behind. Again, the shield wall has been opened, it can't be done. Open invincible. Withdraw. Just pretend less than 1 second, directly become a deserter. As the monsters are continuously consumed by the old man's long distance. The rear Yibi is the monster with the least amount of soul burning according to judgment. In less than 10 seconds, the entire array shield was torn apart like shattered glass. The formation blocking Mo Yifan was broken just like that. Hundreds of Skywrath fighters followed the monsters into the old lineup. Although there is a tacit cooperation over there, under the absolute numbers and the self-destruct offensive that is not afraid of death. In less than 1 minute, everything turned into flashes. Leng Ruohan and Enxueching vaguely saw Gong Shulei's surprised expression, and were scared to pee when he was finally blown into a flash of light. Yi Bi's offensive was too fast, and it was over before both of them found the thrill of revenge. Let's be so, remember to leave a few for us to relieve our anger next time. Although Enxueching was very happy, she still complained. You have to discuss this with the other party and ask them to increase their blood volume so that they won't be caught. Meng Fei said directly. What's the matter with you? Does this battle have anything to do with you? Enxueching naturally dare not say much about Yi Bi, but she will never get used to a little soldier who is inferior to her in everything. Why not? I called 666 until my voice became hoarse. It doesn't look like you opened your mouth wide to pass, without even making a sound. Quote. Is that a pass? I'm shocked. Accidentally, the truth came out. You dare to fool my old lady, you are courting death. Enxueching flew out with a big fireball. As a result, the fireball hit Meng Fei's shield and bounced back directly. It made her just a little bit of hair burnt again. Seeing that the 2 of them were about to fight again, Yi Bi on the side said lightly, do you want to give you 2 free teleportation tickets? Hearing Yi Bi's words, Enxueching also froze. This is a really ruthless person, and he will definitely not be used to himself when he says that he will give away tickets. Don't hurry to work. Li Shui walked to the 2 of them and said. Hearing the word, work, several people immediately got busy. Before Mo Yifan figured out what was going on, Enxueching dragged Mo Yifan to pick up the loot together. Feelings help to get something refers to this. This was Mo Yifan's first time being someone's younger brother sweeping the floor. But this time there are a lot of loot, and the 6 people are all filled with more than half of the carry-on space. Yi Bi looked at the piles of equipment, medicines and materials. He also looked at the simple house built not far away. The old man built a few rooms for the convenience of fighting here. Let's take turns watching here. When the freshmen come, those who are willing to help bring things stay, and those who don't want to send them away directly. Yi will definitely not give up these spoils. Mo Yifan on the side felt helpless. The number 1 scholar was still a miser. Now that you plan to make friends with him, you will naturally have to make friends thoroughly. You can go to upgrade, I'll just watch it here. Leave part of your puppet just in case. If my people are randomly teleported nearby, they should come here to find me. Quote. Give the others a few Skywrath shamans. Yi led the king to move to the depth of one of the energy waves. The ultimate boss in the abyss cannot move temporarily, otherwise the battlefield will end. Let's take a look at the situation of these guardian bosses first. After brushing more than a dozen waves of monsters in a row, Yi finally saw a space crack on the wall. There is a huge 6-pointed star formation in front of the crack. The space crack is somewhat distorted like the vortex at the entrance and exit of the copy. The original channel was sealed by magic, but it couldn't be completely sealed, so this phenomenon of space cracks occurred. It's still the Skywrath warrior exploring the way. The moment the Skywrath warrior stepped into the 6-pointed star formation, a huge gluttonous head appeared in the center of the magic circle, and the Skyfree warrior was swallowed by its huge mouth. Tried several more methods. If the Skywrath mage does not stand within the 6-pointed star formation, the attack will be invalid. But after entering, it was swallowed directly. Isn't it for us to kill? Yi looked at the Teoti screaming in the 6-pointed star formation. It can't get out, and its own soldiers can't get in. The sword and shield minions with the strongest defense are all hit in seconds, and the king probably only needs a few hits when he enters. Supreme Wang Quan also cannot hurt the opponent standing outside the formation. Haha, this kid actually tried to kill Teoti in vain. The instructor in the Array Palace was about to burst into tears. You're really bad, a level 35 glutton, thank you for being able to do it. How long do you have to squat to get there? Quote. Feng Wuji felt that the people in the Formation Palace were too busy. At 3 months, when that big glutton went hunting, I took all 3 of its cubs. If this thing can't be tamed, I really want to tame one as a mount. You can pull it down. Back then there was a beast tamer who died in order to tame the glutton cubs. Don't look at the old man killed by Yi, but there is nothing wrong with Teoti. If he doesn't leave, he will be in trouble soon. The instructor of the formation hall said with a smirk. You mean Teoti's unique skill, Fierce Soul. Qin Yunfeng is a Dharma god who has fought adult Teoti, so he naturally knows the unique skills of the Teoti clan. Old Qin is indeed the youngest Dharma god in the seminary, and only your Dharma school can deal with this thing. Hey, physical attacks are ineffective, a big stumbling block on the road to becoming a god. Feng Wuji's road to becoming a god is currently short of this hurdle, but the magic system is not enough to attack, and he still cannot pass it. People who have become gods can't step there again. It has been more than 3 years since the quest of employing legal professions to kill Teoti has not been successful. It's hard for this kid Yi. Your formation hall is a real bamboo shoot. Without saying anything, Feng Wuji felt the same way. Here we come. The fierce spirit is here. The instructor of the Array Palace smiled and pointed to the screen. Anyway, people won't really die on the battlefield of the big exam, and it doesn't hurt to have some bad jokes. When Yi was thinking about countermeasures, the Teoti of the 6-pointed star array suddenly stood up. A face of a gluttonous beast appeared on the huge belly, and then the face opened its mouth wide. Countless twisted ghosts rushed towards Yi. Soul body. Burning soul. Boom. A fierce soul exploded. This time the burst was more ferocious than any other. With just one explosion, many vicious souls around were shattered to pieces by the aftermath of the explosion. Teoti also staggered. Purple blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. You released this move earlier. Yi took the Skywrath warrior directly, and gave a burning soul to the fierce soul in the big mouth of the face. This kind of monster with a pure soul body contributes more soul power. The consumption of burning soul and the replenishment speed of soul power are almost in balance. This is a tailor-made boss for me, I don't know who is so caring. I have to say that Teoti has a lot of HP. Yi burned his soul there for 10 minutes before blowing up the glutton to death. Kill a level 35 gluttonous cub, rare boss, experience plus 350000, points plus 20,000. Get the blood of gluttony +1, get refined talismans +1. Not even a piece of equipment, what kind of rubbish boss? Yi Bi received the spoils, and pooed at Teoti's corpse. Mr. Liu, what are you doing? Feng Wuji looked at Instructor Liu who was beside him and fainted the moment Teoti was killed. Swipe a disperse spell on him to get rid of the abnormal state on him. No. It's okay. The result of my hard work for 3 months. Bai Rumei on the side said. After this big exam, hurry up and seal those 3 areas, it will take time and effort to get all this fancy. It doesn't make sense, that's a soul skill. It's a special attack other than physics and magic, how could it be useless at all? Could it be that this Teoti is still in his infancy, and his skills aren't that great? Impossible, the skills of adults and children are the same, but the intensity is different. Just like the big fireball, the release of the magic god level and the level 1 mage have the same effect, but the damage is different. Quote. Qin Yunfeng tapped the table in front of him with his fingers, thought for a while and said, Yi Bi's profession is soul puppet master. Soul skill. No way, are you saying that his skills are soul skills? This is too. Don't discuss it. His file level is so high that we don't have the right to view it, which is enough to explain the problem. With Qin Yunfeng's reminder, the mentors naturally did not dare to continue. Only Lu Hongliang's heart bleeds again. He prayed to the god Yi Bi not to go to the other 2 places. It seems to have heard the voice of teacher Lu. Yi Bi went straight to the 2nd location, then the 3rd. In less than an hour including the journey, the 3 gluttons were all cleaned up. Gluttonous blood +3, refined talisman +2, inscription, fierce soul +1. The level has been raised to level 25. Mr. Liu, why don't you go and rest first? Feng Wuji supported Lu Hongliang who fainted again. Seeing Lu Hongliang being helped out of the monitoring room, Gambler Lin Kai curled his lips and said, Master Array is not in good shape, he should exercise more. Shut up, you, the formation mage itself has the lowest physical fitness among all professions, and it is normal to have poor physical fitness. All major colleges and universities have professional teams leading formation masters to upgrade, and the annual team battles and infrastructure construction are just so little, so it's not worth it. Whether it's worth it or not is decided by the Professionals Association, so why worry about it? Just manage your Temple of War well. This is the daily life of the mentors, either bickering or on the way to bickering. Yi Bi didn't know that the kind-hearted man had fainted twice from his anger. Delighted to bring the King of Wrath of Heaven back to the stronghold. Mo Yifan was not as disappointed as he was. It's just that after a while, 2 subordinates were brought in. The accumulated equipment materials and other items were reduced by more than half in an instant. 25. A few people watched Yi Bi who was level 24 when he went out, and Yi Bi who was 25 when he came back. Well, I killed 3 bosses guarding the gate. Although the explosions are not very good, the experience is high. Yi Bi is in a good mood. I have something to discuss with you. Mo Yifan called him to stop. You say, it's okay for my people to help you pack things, but don't you have to give them some benefits? My own points are enough, but almost all of them died once. Quote. Yi Bi understood in seconds, this is for points. What's your name? Zhangqi. Wang Yike. How many points do you have left? Zhangqi. 4,260. Wang Yike. 4,865. Okay, just these points, is it enough? Yi Bi patted his butt and got up and was about to leave. The 2 of them didn't understand what was going on. And Xueqing, who was on the side, leaned forward and back together happily, tears streaming down her cheeks. Lang Ruohan shook his head helplessly. Only Meng Fei looked at a few people and asked in a low voice, what's the situation? Did the boss give them points? Mo Yifan pushed his glasses and said, if he didn't kill 2 people, wouldn't that be equivalent to giving the corresponding points? Meng Fei thought about it and felt that there was nothing wrong with this. It's still Boss Yi's account that is slipping. Lend each of you a blood-increased puppet. How much you can fight depends on your ability. I guarantee your safety until the end of the exam. Quote. Yi Bi waved his hand, summoned 2 Skywrath shamans, and gave the order to protect them. The next step is to wipe out the monsters in the Abyss Valley as soon as possible before the last day. For the rest of the time, Yi Bi teamed up with Lang Ruohan and Meng Fei to sweep away the monsters in the Abyss Valley. Occasionally encounter old students who stray into the Abyss Valley and pick up things in seconds. The number of people on Mo Yifan's side gradually increased. Most of them chose to accept Yi Bi's suggestion and became his mobile warehouse. The few Mo Yifan who were unwilling kept them away from the range of the Abyss Valley. Until the evening of the 6th day, when Su Xiao's team appeared, the peaceful atmosphere was finally broken. Yi Bi saw this group of freshmen who were about to arrive at the camp from the vision of the crow in the sky. "We are going to hunt in the Abyss Valley." The people on Su Xiao's side were dissatisfied with Mo Yifan's people and blocked the way. "We took it down from the hands of the old students, why let you in? Mo Yifan's people will definitely not give up the comfortable environment for upgrading." Su Xiao looked at Mo Yifan at the side, and said in a deep voice, "You mean we're going to have a fight? It doesn't matter what I say here, but I advise you to leave quickly, otherwise you will regret it." Mo Yifan pushed his glasses and said relaxedly. While talking, Yi Bi has rushed back from the monster spawning place at level 29 in the valley. "Are there enough people in the mobile warehouse? The first thing I did when I came back was not to deal with Su Xiao, but to ask about the mobile warehouse." Mo Yifan nodded. "Many people here still have empty pockets." "Oh, all right. Scourge, Burning Soul, Supreme Wang Quan, Meteor Shower, Blizzard, Chain Lightning." After a set of combos, Su Xiao didn't shine except for him. The others all disappeared, leaving behind a lot of spoils. In the second round, more than a dozen Skywrath warriors slashed at the same time. Su Xiao just opened his mouth to say something, but was teleported before he had a chance to speak out. "Clean up the loot. The first class are not allowed to take it privately, otherwise I will give you free tickets." After Yi Bi left a sentence, he immediately ran to the depths of the Abyss Valley. "There are less than 12 hours before the end of the dungeon, so we must hurry up and brush up." After seeing Yi Bi's fighting power with his own eyes, those Kyoto Academy who were originally dissatisfied were completely convinced. They also finally understood why Mo Yifan was willing to be the second child. This is not a horizontal plane at all, it is a dimensionality reduction blow. "Boss, do you want to see the final boss of the dungeon?" A younger brother said. "Don't go, that guy is too protective of food. If you treat it as a second to steal monsters, there is no reason to reason." Mo Yifan made up his mind to wait here. Watching Yi Bi kill the boss is risky. The Skywrath Legion that fought all the way to the deepest part of the Abyss Valley was like a harvester. But all those who can move will be killed. Lang Ruohan and Meng Fei wisely did not follow Yi Bi into the abyss. That honor belongs to him alone. Where did Yi Bi hit? Lu Hongliang finally returned to the monitoring room after a day's rest. In the deepest part of the Abyss Valley, there are quite a few scout guards here. That is, although it feels like most people can't make it here. But those who can really get here must be the focus of the Academy's attention. A must when releasing scout guards from multiple angles. Quote, "Speaking of the work of the Formation Palace, Master Lu immediately regained his energy. Didn't someone organize freshmen and old students to challenge this boss together before, but they failed in the end?" Feng Wuji remembered that he was still a small teacher at that time. It's true that a group of hundreds of people fought for more than 3 hours, but finally gave up. The 100-member group fought for 3 hours, which is outrageous. How much does the boss have to learn? Or is the 100-member group undefendable? Lu Hongliang chuckled and said, "The boss level is not high, it's just a level 30 master, but it has formations." Ah, could it be your handwriting again? Feng Wuji felt something was wrong. The final boss is appointed by the principal, and I just added a solid formation. Stable array. Why do I feel that it's not that simple? Old Lu, you don't know how to add more ingredients, do you? Of course, Lu Hongliang would not say that he added material, and it was the principal who asked him to do so. The original intention of the principal is to let everyone see how powerful the monster is, so we must be more cautious in the future and not be reckless. All the rare bosses of Yi Bi 35 have been killed, this level 30 master should not be a big problem. It's hard to say, if the skills of a level 30 master are abnormal, it is no worse than a level 35 rare boss. These two are both world bosses, and the extraordinary dungeon is comparable to the boss in the secret realm. Quote, "You'll know if you don't see it, let's fight." On the screen, Yibi commanding the Skywrath Legion is besieging the giant python on the altar at the bottom of the abyss. The altar is located in a huge pit surrounded by scorching lava. Only 4 cross-shaped stone roads can lead to the center. But as long as the stone road is stepped on, it will continue to be burned by the flames. Although the burning health does not drop much, a burning debuff will be applied. After the first batch of Skywrath fighters arrived at the giant python, they were about to run out of blood within a few attacks. Relying on the rejuvenation technique of the Skywrath shaman can only maintain the undead state. But the blood volume has not come up. After hitting a certain level, the python boss turned into a flame python, and a group injury spell came, Pyroblast. The long-range shaman and mage are okay, the damage of Pyroblast is not very high, and it can be brought back after 2 rejuvenation. But the Skywrath warrior with the burning debuff was instantly wiped out. I explode every day, and today I finally experience the feeling of being exploded. Yibi checked the battle records. The Scorch debuff carried by Skywrath warriors is the reason why they are instantly killed. Burning. When receiving fire spell damage again, it will suffer 10 times the damage. A Pyroblast only cost more than 400 HP on the Skywrath mage, but the Skywrath warrior lost 4000 HP directly. Yibi tried a few more times not to use the Skywrath warrior, and only use the long-range mage to attack. But the blood that was poured is not as fast as others' automatic recovery. If there are not enough mages, then replace the Skywrath warrior with a mage. As a result, the boss disappeared immediately after the fight. The boss will disappear without melee hatred, and it will be full of blood when it comes out again. Tried no less than 10 times, even tried the explosive soldiers. Still unable to kill the boss at the last moment, and finally exhausted his soul power. Yibi can only return to the Abyss Valley first. Haha. I just said he can't do it, look. Give up. Lu Hongliang couldn't be happier. Other mentors also felt sorry for Yibi. Sure enough, the ultimate boss in this big exam battlefield is invincible. What is the mechanism of this boss? There must be progress to pull hatred. I think he summoned hundreds of mage units in the later stage, but he couldn't kill the boss in seconds. Quote. Feng Wuji asked curiously. Lu Hongliang took a sip from the water glass and said, progress and hatred can reduce the recovery speed of the boss's final blood volume by 10%. Didn't you see that the boss is always on the altar? At the last 10% of the blood volume, it will turn on the flame transformation. Under the altar is endless abyssal magma. As long as the magma is connected to it, it will never lose blood after 10% of its blood volume remains. Isn't this invincible? Then how did the principal capture him? Feng Wuji did not believe that there would be an unkillable boss. What can't be killed at present is that everyone still doesn't understand its mechanism, or the level equipment is not strong enough. According to the settings of this boss, even if Qin Yunfeng goes there, he can't be killed. It is impossible for the underground abyss magma to dry up. The principal didn't say it, but teacher Qin should be able to guess. Lu Hongliang made a fool of himself and looked at Qin Yunfeng. 2 methods. The first is to find a powerful MT to pull hatred, so that the recovery speed will be slowed down at 10%, and then the powerful long-distance focus fire second boss. The second is to cut off the connection between the boss and the magma. Quote. Cut off contact, use formations, or destroy the surrounding environment. Feng Wuji thought of 2 ways to destroy the connection. In the wild, either way will work. But in the battlefield book, the damaged environment will also be restored within a certain period of time. And at their level, it is impossible to completely destroy the environment. Quote. Bairume also joined the discussion, and she was also interested in the final boss of the final round of the big exam. After all, they have all gone through the big exam, even if they haven't seen this boss, they have heard of it. No one has been able to complete the kill so far. Saying you're not interested would be a lie. Lu Hongliang shook his head and denied. The formation method is blocked, unless the level and attainment of the person who releases the formation method is higher than mine. Otherwise, my reinforcement formation is here, and no one's formation can block it. Quote. Then they don't have a MT that can handle it at this level. Even if there is, the output is not enough to instantly kill the last 10% of the boss's HP. That's right, Yibi is already very perverted. The salvo damage of explosive soldiers or mages is very high, but it still doesn't last a second. This monster is immune to fire damage, so it can only attack with spells of other elements, and fire spells have the strongest attack power at the same level. Yi Bi's natural attack with ice method is discounted. Quote, "This kid is back again. Ahem." Lu Hongliang almost choked on this saliva. Because he saw Yi Bi is back again. After going back and sweeping up a few waves of monsters, replenishing his soul power, Yi Bi returned to the altar again. After launching several lightning chains and big fireballs, it was found that the surroundings could not be destroyed, and gave up the idea of destroying the altar. This kid is quite smart, so he can think of a solution, but it's a pity that the destructive power is not enough. Bai Rume nodded in praise. It started again, or the mage salvo. After playing for more than 10 minutes, the mage was out of mana, and the boss was still alive. It will be full at about 10% of the blood volume, which means that a certain mechanism has been activated at this point. What is the mechanism? Yi Bi sat at the entrance, lost in thought. Hey, this kid, you can't beat the boss at all, why waste your time? Feng Wuji's heart hurts Yi Bi. We know the mechanism, that's why we're sure that they can't kill them with the copy with the current upper limit of level 30, but how could he know that? Yi Bi is already one of the most powerful students I have ever seen. Cleaning up old students is like chopping vegetables, but this is not something he can kill. Yeah, this kid is really good. When the time is up, you can ask if you want to learn from us. Teacher Lu, who was almost heartbroken by Yi Bi, finally felt relieved at this moment. What about coming back? It's not that it can't be killed. This is not something that can be done with strong strength, honestly study in the seminary. The formation is so strong that no one can underestimate it. As a formation master, Lu Hongliang has always been proud of being the strongest formation technique among professional skills. I know how to break you. Yi Bi stood up suddenly and raised the soul-thirsty staff in his hand. Seeing Yi Bi stand up, the 6 instructors all held their breaths. Is this kid going to try again? Looking at the countdown, it seemed that there was not much time left for him. Everything is in vain, and the battle time is over in less than 30 minutes. Lu Hongliang has already determined that Yi Bi can only be the final winner at the end of the battle time. Kill the boss. Don't even think about it. The mage's output is slower than before. Is it going to be a protracted war? The only advantage of doing so is to save mana and reduce mental consumption. But it doesn't seem to help the 10% blood volume of the final boss. As the Flame Abyss Python's eyes turned red, that was the change in the last 10% of its blood volume. Yi Bi's soul-eating staff emits a wave of energy that fills the entire space. Reverse the universe. Click, click. The surrounding temperature drops instantly. White ice balls also appeared on the ground. What kind of magic is this? Is it a god-level forbidden curse? How is it possible? Lu Hongliang looked at the frozen everything around him, and suddenly panicked. It's not a forbidden spell. It's the skill of his staff. I should be an attribute replacement skill. Qin Yunfeng may or may not be a forbidden spell, because he has a forbidden spell in his hand. The effect is definitely more shocking than this. Reverse the universe. I know this skill. The duration is not long, about 30 seconds or so. That may not be able to block the magma below. It cannot be completely blocked, but the recovery speed will definitely slow down. 30 seconds is not enough to kill the boss, it is still not enough. Quote, it's already very good. As a freshman, he can pass this method. From this point of view, he is better than many old students or tutors. Bai Rume sighed again. She deserves to be the #1 scholar in the country, she deserves it. But Yi Bi's change in the next second shocked everyone. Become the Shadow King. The shaman is bloodthirsty. Behead. While the surrounding mages focused their fire, the Skywrath King transformed into a shadow form. With the blessing of bloodthirsty, kill the boss directly. Lu Hongliang and Master Lu were also sent away. Feng Wuji and others worked hard for a while to pull Lu Hongliang back from the hands of the god of death. How could it be possible to be killed? How could it be possible to break through my formation? Teacher Lu's belief in the formation of Xian has collapsed. Strong, too strong. There is such a whole card. No wonder the principal wants to list it in the top secret file. The gambler Lin wiped the sweat from his forehead. That last scene was truly stunning. Kill level 30 Flame Abyss Dragon, Master level, experience plus 3000000, points plus 50,000. Obtain the Abyss Flood Flag plus 1, Flood Dragon Ring, Diamond Grade, Flood Dragon Cub plus 1, Skill Book, Extremely Cold Mage, Skill Book, Empowering Plants. Abyssal Flood Flag. All attributes of one's own party plus 50%, Abnormal Resistance plus 20%, Recovery Speed plus 20%, Battlegrounds below level 45. Dragon Ring, Diamond level, all attributes plus 2000, Skill, Dragon Breath, all enemy targets within 10 meters are stunned for 3 seconds, CD 1 hour. Extremely Deep Cold Mage, I am in an extremely deep cold state for 2 seconds, unable to move, immune to all damage, and relieves all abnormal states, CD 1 hour. Transfer Passive, transfer your own damage to the summoned object. Note, classes without summons cannot be used, and the more summons, the less damage shared. Flood Dragon Cub. You can summon a Flood Dragon mount, evolution rate 0%. Yi Bi looked at the 5 items that exploded, and there was a mount cub with a very low explosion rate. And it is also the rarest evolvable type among mounts. This wave has made a lot of money. The 4th round of the big exam is over, and the final score will be announced next. Yi Bi, freshman, plus 1069168. Mo Yifan, freshman, plus 63,941. Lang Ruahan, new student, plus 58,830. Li Shui, old student, plus 49,845. And Xueqing, freshman, plus 46,068. There are less than 100 people on the big list, and those who are not on the list are all students who have been killed twice and their points cleared. There is only one old student, Li Shui, in the top 10, and the rest are all freshmen. Yi Bi's final score is as high as 1 million, which can be called horror. The list is announced, whether it is the candidates who are present or those who have been eliminated, all can be seen on the panel. This Yi Bi's points are outrageous. What the hell is more than 1 million? We old people lost a lot this time. It is said that it was Li Shui who revealed the old students' information. This matter must be told to the head of Gongshu. I borrowed the Abyss set, this time I'm in trouble. The freshmen are fine, and they have no idea about credits. But old students know what credits mean. Even many senior students do not have such high credits. It's unlucky, I was killed by a group of guys in silver armor for some reason. That's Yi Bi's puppet, I was also killed by that thing, hacked to death, right? This Yi Bi is not a good thing, it kills new students. Skills are not as good as people, it doesn't matter who kills you. But it's finally over, looking forward to life in Huaxia Theological Seminary. Quote. Apart from old students, most of the freshmen also hate Yi Bi. Everyone was teleported out of the dungeon in a blink of an eye. Yi Bi immediately became everyone's focus. Yi Bi just glanced over, and most of the people immediately lowered their heads. This gaze seems to be able to kill, it is extremely cold. It seemed to see the fear of being dominated by countless puppets again. However, there are also a few old students who still look at him without giving in. The big exam is over, and all grievances in the exam room should not be brought into the campus. If you are not convinced, you can apply for Battlefield PK. Let me know who is doing something secretly, don't blame the law enforcement hall for being merciless. Quote. Although Mo Xuan had a smile on his face, his words carried a lot of weight. Several old students bowed their heads immediately, they cannot be afraid of Yi Bi. But I am very afraid of the Hall of Law Enforcement, which is a special department that can make any student afraid. Set off. Mo Xuan waved his staff, and a huge void ray appeared in front of everyone. The students jumped onto the back like a small square. 6 instructors stationed in hexagon to protect the students. Along the way, the new student was extremely curious, and was amazed at the various flying monsters passing by in the sky. Occasionally, if anyone closes its eyes, the nearest mentor will kill it. After more than an hour, the void ray slowly lowered its height. The first thing that catches the eye is a towering quaint giant tower. Theological Tower. The clouds and mist gradually dissipated, and below were the buildings surrounding the giant tower. Due east is the conferred god platform, and the other 7 directions are located in the 7 halls. The entire Huasha Theological Seminary takes the Huasha Tai Chi Bagua orientation as the basic blueprint, and various formations echo each other from afar. Quote, following Mo Xuan's introduction, the freshmen saw the huge building complex comparable to the size of a city. The void ray landed slowly outside the east gate. Yi Bi looked at the huge portal that looked like a city gate, as if he would be seen through as long as he looked at it. This is the principal's artifact, let's go. Mo Xuan led the crowd through the gate first. The moment Yi Bi stepped into the gate, he felt the subtle fluctuation of the formation. If someone with malicious intent enters here, he has no doubt that the formation will kill him. The first thing to pass is the Fengshantai. There is only a dull formation base on the conferred god platform, surrounded by countless tombstones. Conferring the gods is both an honor and a responsibility. Convert the points into credits from the exchange office, and receive the badge of Huasha Theological Seminary with his name on it. The instructors began to send invitations to the students they liked. There are only 5 places for each of the 6 mentors. Yi Bi also received 6 invitations. He watched the 6 people look at him eagerly. If it wasn't for the killing god who promised to help him raise the level of the first-rank Skywrath King. Maybe just make a pleasing to the eye walk. Sorry for being late. Yi San's voice moved from far to near, and when he finished speaking, he had already come to Mo Xuan's side. Yi Bi, Mo Yifan, Su Xiao, Han Xiaoxiao, follow me. Without too much explanation, the 4 people ordered turned around and left immediately. As for the reactions of the 6 instructors, that is no response. In a seminary, offending the principal may be fine, but if you offend this man, maybe it will be displayed on the flagpole the next day. The 4 were taken to a 3-story villa. You stay here for the time being, and someone will come tomorrow to take you to meet your respective mentors. Yi Bi, you come with me. In Yi San's room on the top floor, Yi Bi saw a real puppet. However, the outside world judged Yi San's profession as a summoner. Could it be that Yi San has been hiding some secret? Seeing Yi Bi's puzzled expression, Yi San stood among the puppets. Then a blonde female puppet wearing a battle skirt, holding a shield in one hand and a spear in the other came out. Before I became a god, I was indeed just a summoner, that is to say, my talent was rather special. These are the abilities given to me by the godhead after becoming a god. Yi Bi summons the King of Wrath and switches to the puppet vision. There are no soul fluctuations in these female puppets. These are not you. Yi Bi spoke slowly. Sure enough, as we speculated, your ability is similar to my godhead ability. We are currently busy with the Abyss project. Of course, all this is thanks to you for defeating the Elephant God. This year's battle for the throne has been confirmed, but I want a spot for you. Whether you can enter the final copy of the throne depends on your personal performance. Quote, Yi Bi certainly knows what the annual tournament for the throne means. Li Shui has roughly described the rules of this world dungeon. Early members must complete a series of pre-missions in team mode to obtain the key of the final dungeon. Pre-quests include wild monsters around the world, as well as dungeons and great secret realms. Tell me the materials you need to advance to the puppet. Yi San switched back to the body of the beautiful woman. I don't have a clue, I don't know what kind of materials I need for now, why don't I go to the warehouse of the seminary? The first piece of material was found in the school warehouse of Linhai No. 1 Middle School. You can't get in before you become a god. According to my experience, puppets with legendary or god-level quality want to advance. All you need are the drops from the world boss, and each kind of puppet needs different items because of its different attributes. Quote, Yi San is not an expert in this regard, after all, those of his own are summoned objects, not puppets. It's just a little special than ordinary summons. After explaining for a while that someone might come looking for him, Yi San left in a hurry, leaving Yi Bi alone in the room thinking about the advancement of the King of Wrath of Heaven. If you want to compete for the throne, you will be more confident in raising the level of the Skywrath King. There are new message notifications in the professional address book. Han Ling, the equipment and materials have been sold. Do you want gold coins or just check in? Yi Bi was so busy that she forgot about this and thought of the sisters of the Han family. Naturally, I saw the familiar puppet Mo Feiyan who hadn't been in touch with my friend added to the address book. Maybe she might be able to help with the advanced puppet matter. Chapter 61. Yi sent the card number to Han Ling, and said that there were still some things to sell, but they were at Huasha Theological Seminary. Han Ling agreed instantly, saying that she would come to the capital in person. Mo Feiyin was also contacted, and it happened that she was also in the capital. The two made an appointment to meet at a restaurant outside the seminary. Mo Feiyin's first impression of Yi is that she is petite and exquisite. The facial features are also very delicate. What to eat? Have eaten, let's come to the pot of longjing. Yi beckoned to the waiter waiting at the door, and ordered a pot of the most expensive longjing. Just looking at Mo Feiyin's understanding of the tea ceremony, one can tell that this person is very good at enjoying life. After brewing the tea and dismissing the tea artisan, Mo Feiyin pecked lightly and sighed, "It's a pity for this good tea." After brewing a pot himself, he nodded in satisfaction. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is a bit serious. Yi impression of her was more specific. "Look at your puppet." Yi summoned the King of Wrath of Heaven and asked him to walk to Mo Feiyin. Mo Feiyin poured a glass of white water and poured it on the King of Wrath of Heaven. The water flowed all the way to the ground on the surface of the silver-white armor. Spirits. Then she took out a long needle with an enchanted rune, and gently poked it towards the King of Sky Wrath. Until the moment the needle tip touched the Skywrath King, the enchanted runes on it began to change. From regularity to chaos, the entire rune was actually absorbed by the King of Wrath of Heaven. Yi felt a very weak soul power invaded the king's body. In the end, it was completely swallowed by the powerful soul power of the king. "What do you want to know?" Mo Feiyin put away the long needle, took a sip of tea and asked. "Materials to advance to puppets. 50W gold or 1W seminary credits." Yi didn't talk nonsense, and directly transferred 50W. Now he is rich too. The Han sisters sold more than 1.3 million materials and equipment, and Ling Yun gave him a 100W card back then. As for the point given by Lin Guodong, it is considered daily expenses. "Your puppet has only advanced once, right?" Yi nodded slightly. Sure enough, Mo Feiyin has something. There are two methods. The first is to absorb the remnant soul of the god-level boss. Your puppet should have absorbed something similar. As soon as these words came out, Yi was completely relieved. The king has never told anyone about absorbing the remnant soul of the evil elephant god. She saw the way through a simple experiment, which shows that her knowledge of puppets is really good. What about the second type? Use pure original materials, which generally appear in the species dropped by the world boss. Some hell-level secret realm masters also drop, but the probability is extremely low. What is the original material? How to distinguish the ordinary material from the difference? Of course Yi knows that pure source materials are fine, but how can you tell? Is it necessary to switch the vision of the puppet from time to time? It will feel. Mo Feiyin pointed to the King of Wrath of Heaven beside him. "Can you help me get that material? Even one. As long as Yi gets one, Master Cheap can help him find it. I can't guarantee it, but I can help you pay attention. There is a high probability that this kind of item will appear in the professional auction, and it is all in the form of barter." "Okay, I have news to tell me. The related expenses are easy to talk about. Yi holds millions of seminary credits, which is a currency harder than gold coins. In China, apart from military merits, the seminary credits are the strongest. It's a pity that the minimum requirement for the battlefield to gain military merit is level 30, and there is currently no chance to earn military merit." Mo Feiyin drank tea silently, and Yi was fine for the time being. After being quiet for a while, Mo Feiyin drank the last cup of tea, stood up and said, "I'll give you a little suggestion at the end, communicate with your puppet more when you're free." Okay. Yi was a little confused about what the communication in her mouth meant. A puppet with an incomplete soul cannot fully stimulate its potential by relying on external forces alone. The public loser has gone astray and completely abandoned communication with the puppet. Decline is the inevitable result. Quote, after speaking, he got up and left the room. Yi took a sip of the cold tea and looked at Mo Feiyin, who disappeared outside the door. It's really cautious, but this puppet seems to be somewhat similar to those of the teacher. The moment Yi summoned the King of Wrath of Heaven, he knew that Mo Feiyin was not coming from his body. Instead, like Yi-san, he sent out a puppet that was real enough. The position of the puppeteer among all professionals is mysterious. Unconstrained tactics and the use of puppets constitute the special status of puppet masters. Although the mainstream of the main combat department is still traditional occupations such as combat, law, and cavalry. However, if there is a puppet master in a team, there will be many styles of play. Therefore, teams that like to change play styles are very welcome to join the puppet master. On the contrary, for teams that rely more on fixed coordination, the puppet master is the one they dislike the most. Sometimes there is a side effect of disrupting the rhythm of the team. Back at the villa, Yibi saw Han Xiaoxiao wiping his knives in the lobby. Come back, I've been looking for you for a long time, so I went to the PK field to play a few games. No time. Yibi walked right past her and walked towards the stairs. Mo Yifan on the side hurriedly grabbed Han Xiaoxiao, who was about to rush up, and said, "The teacher said, you can't do it privately, otherwise you will be expelled." "It's boring, why don't you play 2 games with me?" Mo Yifan smiled and said, "The 2 of us are average, if I fly here you can't hit me, and I can't do anything to you. Go find Su Xiao, he should be in the arena." Quote, after sending Han Xiaoxiao away, Mo Yifan came to the door of Yibi's room, knocked twice and said, "When you were leaving, Sister Chu Yuxuan, a sophomore, came to look for you." It was only then that Yibi remembered that Yi San seemed to have said that someone would come to talk to him about the throne contest. Did she say where to find her? Yibi walked to the door and asked. "Sophomore Villa area, Villa D13. Go straight from here, turn right after 500 meters and turn right at row 4, number 13. "Thank you, old Mo. Who are you looking for?" Yibi stood in front of the villa and rang the doorbell, and an unhappy male voice came from the door intercom. "Sister Chu Yuxuan, I am Yibi, a freshman. HMPH, come in." Yibi didn't know what kind of medicine the other party had taken, so he could only assume that the big ant came. Chu Yuxuan just came out of the kitchen, holding 4 cups of coffee. "Yibi, come and sit." Chu Yuxuan spoke very softly, and there was always a smile on the corner of her mouth, just like the big sister next door. "What to drink?" "Drink it, thank you." Yibi drank a full stomach of tea, and if he drank any more, he would have to go to the toilet. "A freshman, it's still late, do you have any sense of time?" The flat-headed man on the side said, displeased. Yibi didn't answer, just looked at Chu Yuxuan with a smile. "Okay Lu Yang, he doesn't know what time we have a meeting. Don't come if you don't know, it's rare to bring a level 25 trumpet. Don't even talk about it, this is the decision of the above, we just obey the arrangement. The previous pre-quests are not too difficult, and the world monsters will have high-level seniors to help clear the field, so it is not a big problem." Another chubby girl persuaded. "Let me introduce you to Fangjin Lu Yang, Mage Xu Xiaochen, and Hunter Hong Dogwang. I am the assistant shaman." Yibi saw it, good guy, they are all level 33. Originally this freshman had no chance, but you happen to be level 25. In the past, the battle for the throne would only start 3 months after the first-year freshman entered the school. I don't know why it was suddenly brought forward this year. So you are the only freshman participating this year, and it will be next year if others want to participate. Quote, "If you want me to say that anyone with 30 is better than him, what kind of national champion, a professional who has never experienced a real battlefield is nothing. Someone died in your family or something. Your mouth smells so bad. Yibi can't bear it anymore. I was trying to save you before, but I really treat myself like a green onion. You are courting death." Boom. When Lu Yang slapped the table, the solid wood coffee table was shot with cracks like spider webs. The long sword of the King of Wrath of Heaven had arrived at the back of his heart at some point. Enough. Chu Yuxuan, who always had a smile on her lips, put the coffee in her hand aside, and looked at the two with a cold face. "Lu Yang, I know it's unfair to ask Feifei to wait for next year, but this is the decision of that person, and she wants to come for our qualifications. You have to know how to be grateful. I thank that person, but why is it Feifei? Can't it be someone else?" "Because Feifei is level 32, 1 level away from the red line. But he's only level 25. Why can it be? Don't tell me, if you don't want to go, you don't have to go, or you can give up your qualifications to Feifei. It hurts to say this. Will Lu Yang let it? Certainly not. He's out of range early next year at 35. In fact, 33 is already on the edge, and a series of tasks are estimated to be 34 after sitting down. If you fight for more than 10 days in the battle for the throne, if you are lucky, you will encounter many thrones, and it may be 35 directly. That's why level 33 members will be given priority to join the team before the game. It's not enough to be level 32. As for the airborne players like Yi, no one can say anything more. After all, opening the copy of the throne requires the resources of the entire Washa Professionals Association. That's a huge amount of resources, and it's purely a benefit for individuals to enjoy, and it's a mess. I'll put my ugly words up front. If anyone dares to play tricks during the mission, don't blame me for being merciless. Although the status of the support is not as good as that of the combat department. But once you become the captain of the team and command the battle, the importance of support increases linearly. The team can have fewer output occupations, but auxiliary occupations are indispensable. Is it all right? Chu Yuxuan looked at Yi and Lu Yong. Yi recalled the Skyrath King and nodded. Lu Yong snorted and said nothing, obviously acquiescing. Let's all go back and prepare. Tomorrow, we will take the easiest level 30 to 35 Thorny Swamp mission to get used to it. After everyone left, the fat girl Xu Xiaochen said to Chu Yuxuan, "Is it reliable to come here temporarily?" National number. One scholar has broken many records, so the output should not be too bad. Okay, anyway, the first few are not difficult at all, it's just a waste of time, the world wonders if you can grab them in a few days' time. It's not a big problem to have a 40th level senior brother and sister to help, but I don't know if players from other countries will also choose the monsters there. If they really encounter PK, it is inevitable. Okay, I'm short of one piece of Abyss set, do you have the resources? Fat girl was a little speechless, and she said no after borrowing it for a while. It wasn't so difficult in previous years. Let me ask, I heard that someone is selling it on campus, one piece for 10,000 credits. Chu Yuxuan also just got a set, there is no way, she has not reached level 35, the attributes of the Abyss set are really strong. Parts may have a higher value in a certain item, but if it is really a PK, it will definitely not have the damage reduction fragrance of the Abyss set. Hey, it was also sold in previous years, and the seniors who are over 35 rarely buy one or two of these. But there are only more than 5,000 pieces, double this year. Who is so wicked, driving up prices? Quote. Ah Chu. Yi returned to the villa and actually sneezed. What's wrong? I have a cold, Mo Yifan asked while playing a game. I don't know, maybe it was mentioned by someone. By the way, how much did you sell the Abyss set? Mo Yifan put his phone aside, took out a small notebook and handed it to Yi. Just in time for the throne tournament, the demand for the Abyss set has skyrocketed, and 12 pieces were sold today. There are still a lot of medicines, and I also sold them at a low price. You have too much stock, and you won't need it if you keep it. Quote. Okay, look at the sale. I'll find someone else to sell the other equipment. The Abyss school actually doesn't allow takeaways. Really, otherwise I can sell it for a lot of money. Gold coins are useless, credits are the most important thing. But for you, credits seem to be inexhaustible for a while. Mo Yifan thought of the other party's terrifying million credits, which can really last for a long time. Sold another one, huh? It seems to be the villa you went to. Mo Yifan looked at the order information and said. Yi doesn't care who buys it, it's just a random queue anyway. It can be seen that those 4 people do not welcome themselves. Even Chu Yuxuan only accepted it because it was a mission. Old Mo, what do you think I need to prepare for the throne tournament? Yi feels that he doesn't need to prepare anything, just go directly to the dungeon. In fact, Mo Yifan already knew that he would be inserted in this year's team. There is no way, the only seedling at the 25th level, and the national champion, no matter what the school will let him go. Add some life-saving skills and diversify the combat. The attributes can be piled up as high as possible, and PK takes advantage. Quote. Do you know what gluttonous blood is for? And how to evolve a mount? Mo Yifan looked at Yi. Level 25 is right. How did you ask a level 45 question? The gluttonous blood is used too much, such as special enchantment, inscription engraving and so on. As for the evolution of the mount, it depends on the type. This school has a dedicated animal trainer in charge. It's not difficult to spend some credits to order one. Yi Bi checked the time, it was still a while before Li Tianhai. Go, help me see how this inscription hit my puppet, and how this dragon cub evolves. Puff, cough cough. Mo Yifan coughed violently when he saw the dragon cub. Where did you come from? Don't tell me it's from the big battlefield. What else? I have been to the mines of death and the abyss of death. Yi Bi was also speechless for a while. Isn't it just a mount? After looking for several animal taming instructors, it was finally determined that the dragon must absorb the spirit of the dragon to evolve. Inscription. Fierce spirits can be entered into equipment, but they cannot be extracted later. The Dana scribe at the seminary also gave other advice. Just break into the puppet. Yi Bi's profession is a puppeteer, so the inscription has more uses than other professions. Golems can be regarded as special equipment. Skill inscriptions are rare, you should think about it. The golem's skills are slightly different from the professional's skills. Once the puppet is charged or silenced, the skills cannot be released freely like equipped skills. Quote. No problem. Yi Bi naturally doesn't care about this, and the shared talent completely makes up for this shortcoming. 3W credits, materials are self-prepared. Yi Bi felt that his 1 million credits would be wiped out in less than a year. This is too expensive. It seems to see Yi Bi's thoughts. The inscriber smiled and said, that's what Yifan brought you here. If it were someone else, I would probably need at least 5W from you. What other materials are needed? Everything else is easy to say. The 3 drops of gluttonous blood are the key to activate this fierce soul skill. Yi Bi thought to himself, did you ask for it after looking at the materials I have? After working for more than an hour, a triangular inscription mark appeared on the palm of the left hand of the King of Wrath of Heaven. Went to the beast taming farm for a walk around the dragon mount. Yi Bi returned to the villa satisfied. Early the next morning, Chu Yuxuan and several team members were ready. The first stop is the Thorn Swamp. Starting from the teleportation array of Huasha Theological Seminary, it goes straight to the Thorny Valley in the southernmost part of Nanfang Province, and a dozen kilometers deeper is the copy of the Thorny Swamp. The front of the throne mission is time-limited, so after entering the dungeon, everyone fights and walks all the way. Don't fight positional warfare. Chu Yuxuan put a few people on the state, and the hunter directly opened the cheetah guard to increase the movement speed. Yi Bi just brought the King of Wrath of Heaven to play soy sauce in the team. But the ultra-high attributes still make his DPS rank first. It's just a run-in copy, and everyone can pass the level directly without any effort. On Nightmare difficulty, Yi Bi is still the #1 player in DPS, and now the others lose their temper. After fighting the 30 to 35 dungeons of the 5 major groups, the team finally had a round with the main force, looking for traces of the world's small boss, the Northland Werewolf, in the Northland. There are 8 other teams doing this task together. Yuxuan is here, join your team directly. Thank you for your hard work. What direction do we need to be in charge of? As for the process of the pre-throne mission, Chu Yuxuan has already inquired clearly with the students who participated in the previous session. 8 teams, each responsible for a direction. Find your target to contact other teams and notify the surrounding monitoring advanced team. The most difficult part of the pre-quest is this link. The first difficulty lies in finding the boss without disturbing it. Once the boss is alarmed, the probability of being destroyed will be very high. The second is that high-level teams cannot participate in combat, otherwise the mission will fail. Finally, there is the intervention of external forces. After all, opening the copy of the throne is world-class, and professionals from other countries will also have such tasks. Don't be stingy with any reconnaissance skills. When you find the boss, you will be notified of the team channel as soon as possible. Captain, do you think the professionals of Sakura and Bangzi will be able to come this year? Last year, the fight was really fierce. Master Fat Girl asked worriedly. It's hard to say. Professionals will die every year in the pre-quests of the Throne Dungeon, but no one will give up easily for the sake of the throne. Team Channel. X2980, Y8967. The boss is refreshed, but there are many gnolls scattered around, so please don't get close. Team Channel. X 2800, Y 7000 found a team of foreign professionals, and the mission members who were nearby immediately left. X 2800, Y 7000 found a foreign professional team, and the task members who were nearby immediately left. Quote. Chu Yuxuan glanced at the coordinates on the panel, and broke out in a cold sweat. It can't be such a coincidence, can it? Your team is less than 100 meters away from the warning position. Yibi also saw the army of professionals appearing 100 meters away by using the vision of the Northern Falcon. 12 people flew in the air and 38 people ran on the ground. Why are you still here? Didn't see the team channel notification. The 40th level senior in charge of security looked at Chu Yuxuan and the others displeased. We also just arrived here, and we didn't expect this kind of thing to happen. Chu Yuxuan explained with an apologetic face. We only have 4 people, and we can only take 4 of you when flying with you. Think about it, and I will give you 10 seconds. Anbao's seniors also take on tasks to earn credits. The content of the task is to ensure the survival of the task team members as much as possible. The more members survive, the higher the task completion. It is better to save 4 than to die all 5, at least the task completion rate can be better. Leader needs according to level. Lu Yong suggested immediately. The level requirement is to select the ones with higher levels first, which is a form of dungeon allocation equipment. Another option is based on occupational needs. Obviously, the professional requirements here are not suitable. Why does your team still have a level 25 trumpet? Is the current throne tournament so sloppy? Only then did the senior security guard notice Yibi's level. The temporary decision has already been approved by the school. Chu Yuxuan could only prevaricate it with formalities. The level requirements are not suitable. Each of you write a name and give it to me. Whoever's name appears the most will be kept. This method is relatively fair, but it obviously has no advantage for Yibi, a member who jumped in line later. Chu Yuxuan and the others looked at each other, and finally turned around to write down a person's name. The team leader looked at 5 notes with names on them. Yibi. 5 people actually wrote Yibi. Even Yibi himself put his name on it. Which of you is Yibi? Chu Yuxuan and the others looked at the calm Yibi. Not to mention how happy Lu Yong was. This time to see if you die or not, you must compete for the spot with my family Feifei. This is good, snatch yourself to death. In order to be fair, the team leader spread out the note in his hand, so that Yibi could die. Seeing that the 5 names were all his own, Yibi felt relieved. Still not accepted. Forming a team is really not suitable for me. Is there anything I can say to you? Yibi froze for a moment, smiled and shook his head. Okay, although it is inevitable, I hope you can delay it for a while, at least die with dignity like this. The leader patted Yibi on the shoulder. Unlike freshmen, juniors are used to life and death. In the past 3 years, the teammates around me have changed wave after wave. Maybe the one being replaced is myself. Watching the 8 people gradually fly away, Yibi also stretched his muscles. Released all of his Skyrath army. Team channel. Attention all units, the MT is in place, and the battle is quick. The security team will buy us time. If it weren't for the fact that the pre-missions must be completed through teamwork, Yibi would have left the group long ago. Aren't we a little sorry for him by doing this? After all, he is still a freshman. Although Chu Yuxuan also wrote Yibi's name, there is still a Holy Mother in her heart. It's his own fault, who made him insist on jumping in the queue. After a year, everything will be fine, he deserves it. Lu Yong couldn't do it well, and finally he was able to express his anger. I'm still worried about how to face the night god when I go back. What fat girl is worried about is not Yibi's death, but Yi Shen's anger. Ahem, who are you talking about? The leader wondered if he had heard wrong. Night god, he was assigned by Night god to the Throne Dungeon mission. The team leader wanted to slap himself a few times, he knew that he would have to bring Yibi with him if he left anyone behind. That Lu Yong is quite suitable for being left behind, he is big and tired even flying with him. But it was too late. It is estimated that Yibi's body could not be found now. Keep an eye on the team channel and see the death notification. The team leader reminded. At least he must know who killed Yibi, so that if he asks when he goes back, he will not be so passive. Chu Yuxuan immediately looked at the team channel. Team Channel leader Teams 1 and 3 quickly cleared the null squads at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and the other teams healed and assisted the recovery of the T teams. Can the remote DPS give me some power? Didn't you eat? With this output, how do you open the boss later? Level 33 Null Warrior Elite caused 2300 damage to Huang Yuan. Level 33 Null Mage Elite caused 1800 damage to Lu Hongwei. There are rows and rows of battle records, but there is no reminder of Yi Bi's death. There is no news about Yi Bi yet. Always pay attention. PvP data will not be displayed on the team interface, but kills and deaths will be prompted. The team leader could only press down his frustration and speed up to fly to the boss target. Yes. Before flying 100 meters, Fat Girl found a row of reminders in red fonts in the team channel. Yi Bi successfully killed. Yi Bi successfully killed. You mean he successfully killed the professionals on Sakura's side? More than one. Yi Bi didn't hold back at all against the 50-member ground and air team. Although the moment I wrote down my name, I had already anticipated the result. But the lion fights the rabbit with all his strength. The 800-plus Skyrath Legion are all in place, and the Skyrath King and his deity are hidden behind the boulder. Today, even if the Skyrath Warrior has the halo bonus of the Legion of the Sky, it can only have the same attributes as a professional with an Abyss suit at level 30+. Even if a certain attribute is slightly higher, it cannot win in a short time. So there is only one way to win. Self-destruct. The Scourge begins to trap ground troops. The Skyfury Warrior charged, and the remaining blood exploded. Skyrath Mage long-range blizzard deceleration plus damage. Enemies in the air. Yi Bi has chosen the glyph skill Vicious Soul. Countless ghost faces flew out from the palm of the Sky Wrathful King, directly targeting 12 enemies in the air. Seeing that the other party has such a strong security member, the security team of Sakura Country is self-destructing again. Immediately ordered to give up the task of killing the Northern Wolf King. After paying 6 air crew members and 23 ground crew members, he fled to a huge beetle and quickly left the range of the Northland. There are still mounts in the rear to meet him, so they are well prepared. Yi Bi looked at the beetle mount going away, and if he released the dragon, he would be able to chase it. But he has more important things to do than beat the dog in the water. Those who run away will meet again in the throne tournament, so there is no rush. Dead. Fat Girl looked at a series of reminders in red letters, and finally saw the reminder of death. It's a pity. At level 25, there are professionals who can kill 30+ strength. If they grow up, their future is limitless. The team leader regretted for a while, but it was irreparable. It's not Yi Bi, someone in the team died. Chu Yuxuan briefly explained. It turned out that the team leader was afraid of Yi Changmeng and quickly cleaned up the surrounding nulls, and then opened the boss directly. As a result, the null behind the boss was also activated. Lead to the treatment of occupational hatred to determine the number of deaths. Without treatment, the T in front could only be dying. You hunters, drive the cheetah and run over there. We can only send it here. If we get any closer, we will enter the hatred range of the boss. The team leader put the 4 of them outside the cordon of the security guards here. Chu Yuxuan gritted her teeth and rushed in first. The other 3 followed suit. The throne tournament started too hastily this time, and the level of the students inside is very average. Several security members in charge of the cordon said with disdain. Why bother so much? Even if the mission fails, there is still a guaranteed reward. Get ready to welcome foreign professionals. The team leader knew that it would not be long before the professionals from the Sakura Kingdom would be able to come here through the forest. The boss refresh is not small, as long as there is a reconnaissance skill in the team that can be found. It seems that there is no need. The eagle-eyed hunter in front said that the professionals in the Sakura Kingdom have retreated in an all-round way, and even the mount of the unicorn fairy has been used. Okay. The team leader switched to the channel of the security team, and it turned out that the eagle-eyed hunter who was in charge of monitoring the professionals in Sakura Country reported the latest developments 48 seconds ago. Russell, prepare. Enemy attack. The leader immediately entered the fighting state after hearing the rustling sound from the forest side. A dragon with 1 horn and its first birth galloped out of the forest, with a man and a puppet standing on top of it. Yi Bi, the leader didn't expect him to be alive. And also has such a mighty and rare mount. If you have this mount, you should have told me earlier that everyone can ride the mount together and run around together. Why do you want to write your name and decide to keep it? The leader complained in his heart. But he can't be blamed. Generally speaking, it is difficult to own a mount before level 40. Even if there is, it is the kind of ride alone. Such a huge mount that can carry many people is very rare. At present, among the 40th level students of the seminary, there are not more than one who can own this kind of mount. Seeing the members of the security team, Yibi took his mount and came in front of everyone. It's fine, it's fine. The team leader patted Yibi on the shoulder. Can I go in? Yibi glanced inside, and there were already people running out. The team leader looked at it, shook his head and said, I'm afraid you won't be able to complete your mission this time, the MT is down. Yibi frowned slightly. If the task fails, the boring prologue must be restarted. Then go to find other world bosses to kill according to the new task prompt. It will take 2 or 3 days to come and go without talking. And the throne tournament may start at any time. Although the dungeon will last for a week. But the advantage of entering the throne copy first is self-evident. Watching the students run out in embarrassment, the team leader signaled to other members to prepare to take over the boss. With their level 40 MT, they will definitely not overturn. Yibi ignored the actions of the leader and others, but walked straight inside. If the boss does not leave the cordon, the security team will not enter the battle. As long as he kills the boss before it breaks out of the cordon, the mission is still considered complete. Yibi, you're not dead. When Chu Yuxuan was running desperately, she happened to see Yibi who was going upstream. Seeing that Yibi ignored it, she also knew the reason. Don't go there, the MT is dead, there are too many gnolls inside. We can't clear it at all, let's wait until tomorrow to do another pre-quest. Quote, I don't want to form a team anymore. Yibi just said 5 words lightly. But Chu Yuxuan knew what these 5 words meant. Monster. Yibi likes to have a lot of monsters. The red-eyed werewolf of the north has entered the giant werewolf. The body is as burly as a hill. It is surrounded by countless gnolls and boreal wolves. Gnolls are level 33 to 35 elite monsters. The attributes are similar to those of the Skywrath warrior. The northern land wolf is an ordinary monster, and its 4-dimensional attribute is only a quarter of that of the Skywrath warrior. Yibi is naturally reluctant to kill this natural bomb. The natural disaster started. The fierce spirit flew over the wolf man and flew directly to the werewolf in the north. Yibi was not in a hurry to let the evil spirits attack, but surrounded the huge body of the werewolf in the north with countless evil spirits. The werewolf boss immediately targeted Yibi with the hatred judgment. Woohoo! There was a wolf howl, and a blood-red light glowed all over his body. Not good. The werewolf ran away. Run! The team leader shouted to the inside immediately after seeing the blood-red light. MT is ready to open the shield wall to take over. Assist the state. Although I don't know why Yibi insisted on going against the current, but now it seems that the rampant werewolf can only be solved by himself. Seeing the rampage werewolf, Yibi just snorted softly. Are you the only one who ran away? Enhancement Shaman. Furious and bloodthirsty. After level 25, Yibi's Infuse has a career judgment. Skywrath Warrior Sword and Shield Soldiers are infused with Shield Bash and Charge, and Giant Axe Warriors get Half Moon Slash. Skywrath Shaman is also subdivided into 2 types, the main auxiliary and melee enhancement Sha, and the long-range element Sha of the main magic system. On the basis of bloodthirsty allies gain berserk effect within 5 seconds, all attributes plus 200%, the violent bloodthirsty effect is increased by 200% again. In an instant, the Skywrath Legion turned from silver-white to blood-red, and their physique also doubled in size. Burning Soul. With the release of Yibi's soul skill, the Northern Wolf and the half-blooded Gnoll Elite burst out first. Control the soul. Seeing that his feet had been blown to pieces, the Northland Werewolf wanted to fight back. Decisively control the soul and control the opponent for 1 second. The bloody Skywrath Warrior charged directly to the boss. Fry. This time it was the self-destruction of the Skywrath Warrior and the fierce soul. A blood mist covering half of the sky appeared. This is followed by combat prompts from the panel. Kill level 35 Northland Werewolf, exclusive to World Boss missions, get the Throne Battlefield Key +1. There is only one battlefield key, which is indeed exclusive to the mission. Yi Bi glanced at the prompt to summon the mount and rushed to the nearest teleportation point. Chu Yuxuan and the others opened their mouths wide and looked at the distant figure. I finally knew how big a thigh I missed. Facing this kind of player who can take 39 in one, the team leader can only shake his head and sigh softly. If you compare people, you will die. If you compare goods, you will throw them away. Mission completed. Happiness came too suddenly. Which team did that member belong to just now? It's awesome. Summoner, right. With so many silver armored summons and a proper stormtrooper, it's best to team up with him, and the throne copy will be stable. Forget it, I didn't see that everyone wears a mount, maybe it's a son or brother of a big family. Many students who were taken away are still guessing Yi Bi's identity. Chu Yuxuan and the others silently followed behind the large army, not to mention any regrets in their hearts. Captain, why don't we go back and find him to admit our mistakes? Master Fat Niu still had a glimmer of hope. If you were voted out by your teammates, would you ignore the past? Chu Yuxuan was much more sober than the team members. Rather than confessing to Yi Bi, it is better to think about how to plead guilty to Yi Shen. After this battle, Yi Bi has gained a reputation in Huasha Theological Seminary. Killing many professionals in Sakura country alone, one with 39 tough violent werewolf bosses. Either one can set off a shocking wave. It just so happened that all of this was done by one person. Just when countless people were discussing what kind of monster Yi Bi was, he himself began to research the information of the previous throne contests alone. After Yi San learned about the series of big events Yi Bi made, so he took the time to send him valuable information from previous throne contests. In addition to the common sense information that can be found in the school, Yi San's information also marked some places where high-level thrones might appear. As expected of a world dungeon, it is actually made up of countless broken dungeons. Yi Bi stroked his chin and imagined the magnificence and size of the lower throne copy. No wonder there are countless teleportation formations inside, otherwise it would take a lot of time to just walk around an area. Not to mention killing the boss, even finding the boss is difficult. According to the data, the drops of each boss are different. Ordinary bosses only drop throne fragments, then find the smelting place for 3-in-1 synthesis. Similarly, bronze-level thrones can be synthesized into silver-level thrones, and so on. However, the more advanced the throne synthesis ground, the more powerful guardian beasts will guard it. In the map given by Yi San, there are 3 golden throne synthesis sites and 7 possible locations of the golden throne. Boom boom boom. Yi Bi, there is important news. The sound of Mo Yifan's hurried footsteps came from outside the door. Enter, Yi Bi replied without looking up. When Mo Yifan saw the map on Yi Bi's computer, he immediately recognized that it was a part of the copy of the throne. Hey, Yi Shen seems to have prepared a route for you. Would you like to see the route map I got? Mo Yifan naturally doesn't have the ability to get the road map, but Mo Xuan can. Mo Xuan, who is in charge of external intelligence, has a different intelligence network from Yi San. After all, in that position, everyone has their own circle and sources of information. Old Mo, you are more than enough. Of course Yi Bi will not refuse such a good job. It's not for nothing, Mo Yifan said without blushing. What conditions? Just know that there is no free lunch in the world. My elder sister Mo Feiyan is also participating in this throne tournament. If you meet her, please take care of her. Of course, the premise is to ensure your normal progress. After all, the map is too big, and the probability of encountering it is very low. Mo Yifan added selfishness. After all, Mo Xuan didn't ask him to add this condition. Mo Feiyan, which Mo? Yi Bi felt that the name sounded familiar. Haidamo, she is also a puppet master, but because of personal relationship, she left the family very early, so she changed her surname to Haidamo. Do you know each other? Yi Bi nodded, the two of them knew each other. Although I haven't seen her real face, she is also a professional in the friend list. That would be easier. In fact, this matter is decided by me. My ancestors don't know. Mo Yifan showed a rare embarrassment. This kind of expression is difficult to appear on his standard academic face. She is my half-sister, and she took good care of me when I was young. Mo Yifan hardly has any real close brothers and sisters in his family. After all, some of the family disciples are intrigues and power struggles. Make a deal. Yi Bi inserted the USB flash drive in Mo Yifan's hand into the computer. There are several marking points marked with silver and gold ranks on it. Several of these markers overlap with Yisan, and many belong to other locations far away from Yisan's map. The battlefield of the throne and the battlefield of the Godhead are the remains of the ancient battlefield of the last battle of the Abyss. The bosses inside more or less have the blood of the ancient relics, but after thousands of years of reproduction and hunting by professionals. The power of its bloodline is getting weaker and weaker, and it is precisely because of this that professionals can hunt and kill it at a low level. Quote, Shueba is really different. He told some news and rules of the battlefield of the throne from the source of the battlefield. Yi Bi also had to marvel at Mo Yifan's erudition. He himself is too lazy to study these ancient documents, and direct parallelism is his style. By the way, there is another thing. Senior Sister Li Shui came to see you yesterday. Ask if you have any idea of establishing a society. She wants to join our society to seek protection. Quote, Mo Yifan almost forgot about this matter. In his opinion, Li Shui was targeted by a sophomore. But Yi Bi and the others dared not take revenge, so they could only vent their anger on her. For Li Shui, Yi Bi can only be said to have met by chance. The two didn't have much communication, it was just a pure transaction. Leng Ruohan and Shuiqing also want you to take the lead in forming a club. After all, you are the rookie king, and this is where your appeal lies. Not interested in. Yi Bi has no time to deal with clubs. After the copy of the throne is over, we have to hurry up to upgrade, and we have to find materials that can make the King of Wrath of Heaven advanced. You don't need to manage it. The club leader will do everything by himself. You just need to take the lead in establishing a club, and I and others will take care of the rest for you. Mo Yifan originally planned to set up a club by himself, but this year's champion was not him, so he had to settle for second best to help Yi Bi manage the club. Seeing that Yi Bi was still hesitating, Mo Yifan pushed his glasses and said, Associations have many benefits, and they can give priority to entering the secret realm of the group book of the seminary. If the society performs well, it can apply to join the main battle group, and go directly to the battlefield to earn military merits. Quote, and this thing, didn't you say that if you don't reach the standard, you won't be allowed to go to the battlefield? Yi Bi has never heard of such a treatment in the club. As long as you enter the main battle group, you can apply to enter the battlefield, but most of them are some logistics work. The main force to face the enemy is still a team of 40+ professionals. Okay, then apply for one. Yi Bi finally couldn't stand the temptation of making military exploits on the battlefield. Yemen, isn't your club too quack? Mo Yifan couldn't help complaining when he saw the club name Yi Bi applied for online. It's just a mark, what a waste of time to think about. Yi Bi didn't care at all, but felt a little sad for the 1,000 credits deducted. 3 days later, the world-class Dungeon Throne tournament will officially start. Professionals from various countries began to arrange massive amounts of materials to maintain the stability of the portal. Competitors who meet the conditions are also ready. The Global Association of Professionals allocates places according to the contribution of professionals in each country. Huasha Theological Seminary, Sheloise Theological Seminary, Cherry Blossom Theological Seminary and other colleges and universities naturally accounted for the majority of the country's quota. Provincial-level universities come next, and the number of places reserved for private trade unions and families are all in single digits. Even so, the number of players participating in this world-class dungeon still exceeded 1 million. Huasha Theological Seminary has selected 100 people who meet the requirements to gather in front of the conferred God stage. That's right, the portal of the Huasha World Dungeon is set up on the ancient formation of the Fengshantai. The principals of other provincial colleges and universities also came with a large amount of materials and their students. As for family disciples and trade union members who want to participate, they can only be affiliated with their universities. Bai Lao came to the scene in person. Although the battlefield is dangerous, it can't stop me, Huasha Haorlang. Just the opening remarks have already ignited the enthusiasm of the students below. It was as if his words had a magical power. You only live once, and I hope that everyone can do what they can. Although it is said that the throne is the ladder to becoming a god, there are still many people who rely on their own resilience to finally succeed in becoming a god. Alive, anything is possible. After extreme fanaticism comes deep calm. The trainees all measure their positions with a peaceful and stable state of mind. Although there is only one chance to enter the dungeon, get a bronze throne and come out alive. Better than dying inside holding the silver throne. There is less than an hour to open the copy. Many people are looking for someone to team up with. After all, even if the boss in the dungeon is the most ordinary, it is not something that ordinary people can defeat alone. As for the lone wolves, they were either well prepared or had special occupations. No one can trust anyone, it is better to single out than to form a team. There are also many sophomores who know Yi in the seminary. But for a while, no one dared to step forward and issue a team invitation. In the end, some people went to Yi relying on their outstanding appearance. Team formation, Junior, I don't have high requirements, a silver rank throne will do. No group, Yi replied coldly. Shu Shalwa doesn't give face. I'm afraid that this kid will have difficulty in the seminary in the future. That's right, Gongshu Shangyan offended him, and now he offended Senior Shu, who is the appointed daughter of the junior Fengali Pavilion Master, how dare he? Are you so brave, you still haven't been beaten by the masters of the seminary? I think back then we were not afraid of anything, but now we have to bow to reality. Quote. The sophomore members all started talking. Even many third-year seniors who came to cheer began to discuss Yi. After being rejected, Shu Qian bit her cherry lips and looked at someone in the crowd as if she was about to cry. Owner of the diamond throne of Fengali Pavilion, Tian Qiming. The latter gave her a reassuring look. Boss, what to do with him, you speak. The assassin next to him immediately came up and started licking. Have you been kicked in the head by a donkey? This is a seminary, who dares to play tricks here? It's just a freshman who jumped in the queue temporarily. It's hard to say whether he can get out of the dungeon alive. Do you really think that with a backing, you can walk sideways in the seminary? Quote. A flash of anger flashed in Tian Qiming's eyes, but he was suppressed by reason in the end. All the outsiders who arranged to help have been found. Okay, everything is going according to plan, and 12 of the more than 100 people we found are eligible to participate. Tian Qiming just glanced sideways at his subordinates, who immediately understood and quietly withdrew from the crowd. Post task details to 12 people and transfer money. Most of these people come from non-governmental trade unions, just like family members. All to accompany the prince to study. According to the normal process, these people may not get a ticket to enter the copy of the throne for a lifetime. However, in order to allow the outstanding children in the college to successfully obtain the throne, the family has trained a group of professionals with a 35-level card line. Well-known trade unions will cultivate a group of members who are strong in PvP and not weak in PvE. For the annual throne tournament. As the minutes passed, the members of the conferred god stage who were about to enter the arena basically found a suitable team. Yi found a clean place and entered a state of meditation. At this time, several planned roadmaps have appeared in his mind. There is no need to kill ordinary bosses, it's just a waste of time. If you come across it while passing by, just kill it. The nodes of several roots are smelting places where thrones can be synthesized. According to the information given by Yi San and Mo Xuan, every year someone would set up an ambush there to be a fisherman. Although I don't have time to wait there, it is not impossible to increase the number of low-level thrones by anti-fishing. As Yi suddenly stood up, the dim halo on the conferred god stage also began to brighten. Old Bai opened and closed his hands. A rippling water surface appeared on the conferred god stage. The participating members jumped into the dungeon one by one in order. Starting location. The entrance of Huasha Fengshantai, the current location has been recorded, bound to return to the city setting. The cooling time of the city return skill is 24 hours, and the release time is 30 seconds. If the period is interrupted, the timer will be restarted. Rules of the battlefield of the Throne Dungeon. This battlefield is an indiscriminate attack, and non-team members will be attacked in a range, and there is no protection mechanism. The boss drop judgment is determined by the blood volume and the weight of the last hit. Level limit. 25 to 35 levels. The battlefield upgrade limit is 35, and no experience rewards will be given after reaching 35. The language system is unified. The countdown to the battlefield starts 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When Yi entered the battlefield, he rode on his Mount Jiaolong and rushed to the target teleportation point. It's amazing to have a mount. I heard that this newcomer Wang Chao is rich. Not only does he have millions of credits, but he also has a rare mount, Jiaolong. I hope I can get the silver level throne this time, and start pursuing Yi as soon as I go out. Pull it down, Shu Qian doesn't care. Why do you have enough milk? Carrots and cabbages have their own preferences. Maybe the handsome guy Yi is just like me. Mo Feiyan recalled her mission and could only shake her head helplessly. 1,000 gold, kill Yi. 500 gold to help Shu Qian get the gold level throne. Don't even think about killing Yi. In her opinion, that puppet is definitely not something she can defeat. The only thing I can do is help Shu Qian's silver level throne, and then I will get another one to prepare for the future. According to the talent awakening comparison corresponding to the throne level, gold is equivalent to an A-level talent. Diamond is equivalent to S-level, legend is equivalent to SS level, and God level corresponds to the highest level of SSS talent. In the history of the seminary, someone has won the legendary throne. That is already the highest level of existence. And this person is the current president of Huasha Theological Seminary, Bai Lao. 100 years have passed, and many people wanted to break the record, but they all ended up with hatred. In the past 30 years, everyone has also recognized the reality. As Bai Lao said, do what you can. After Shu Qian entered the dungeon, she didn't leave in a hurry, but waited for the other teams to leave before looking at the remaining group of people. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for your help. Our team is the first to open the monster, and everyone will shoot after holding down the hatred. Finally, we will complete the final blow. To ensure that the drop belongs to our team. Seeing everyone nodding, Shu Qian waved her hand, and a red scorpion appeared in front of everyone. Seeing everyone's envious eyes, Shu Qian's vanity was instantly satisfied. This is a precious mount that I only got after Tian Qiming spent half a year. Even without your help, I can do the same, even get a diamond level S-level talent. Shu Qian has already made up her mind to make Yi pay for her rejection. She was not a member of the Yi regiment that time, and she did not witness the scene where Yi killed the werewolf in the north. Naturally, Yi and Gongshu Shangyan are placed at the same level. At this time, Yi has traversed 3 small maps in a row, and came to a location marked with a possible 3-headed snake. Although it was only a bronze-level monster, it met the conditions for him to hunt and kill. Dragon blood. That's right, he wants the mount to evolve. Anyway, killing any boss is killing, so it is naturally a choice that kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And when he saw the 3-headed snake lizard appearing in the lake, the corners of his mouth rose slightly. This boss is actually in the state of soul body. Isn't this the same as delivering food? What I am best at is soul power attack. If the big bosses of this throne dungeon are all soul bodies, wouldn't they be about to take off? This time the fight was faster than ever. Yi just used one trick. Fierce soul, get it right away. Kill the level 32 3-headed snake lizard, bronze level, experience plus 320000. Obtain the bronze throne plus 1, primary battlefield HP pack plus 3, primary battlefield energy pack plus 3. Your Mount Dragon Cub has absorbed the Dragon Soul Power, evolution rate plus 5%. There are still rare boss outside, who came here to play the ancient battlefield dungeon, but it was only a small bronze level boss. It is indeed a world-class copy. This time for the copy, Yi completely cleared the portable space. Except for the necessities of life, I didn't even bring a barbecue grill. After the sweetness of the last exam, Yi is more convinced that he wants to become rich. Exploding people is faster than exploding monsters. Those who can come to participate in the competition, almost everyone has an abyss set. Jewelry with a very low drop rate, such as ring necklaces, will definitely appear. These are all money. The more I want to meet other professionals, but I can't meet them. After clearing the 4th boss, Yi finally understands why the high-level throne is so rare. 4 bosses, 3 bronze ranked, and 1 silver ranked were the first to be crowned the bronze throne. Others only contributed experience and mount evolution. Yi knew that the original plan needed some adjustments. Although looking for dragon bosses all over the world can satisfy the mount advancement, the ultimate goal of the throne book is to obtain a high-level throne. Upgrades are included. Yi didn't go to the next place where the dragon boss might appear as planned. Instead, he turned and entered a dilapidated barracks. The killing spirit of the past on the battlefield is no longer there. Occasionally, a few wandering gnolls walked by. A few flashes of silver light flashed, and the Sky Wrath warrior chopped down the wolf man directly. Yi stepped on the body of the wolf man and looked towards Dianzhongtai at the end of the battlefield in the distance. A ball of black light is gradually gathering. Just 3 breaths away. A tall figure in armor holding a spear was condensed into one. A general of the people. Yi has already learned that the bosses in this throne instance are mainly divided into 3 categories. One is evolved from the monsters that have grown here for many years. The other type is the soul power left over from the ancient battlefield combined with something to form one. The last category is the one in front of you. It is just a lingering thought that keeps the soul power lingering and cannot be completely freed. Although it is mentioned in the data that this type of boss has a lower burst rate, and the difficulty of killing it is much greater than the former 2. But Yi has ideas of her own. First of all, the soul body itself is the type of self-restraint, and the same soul skill will benefit more when hitting the soul body. Secondly, he also has his own conjectures about the advancement of the King of Wrath of Heaven. I'm sorry, I hope you will be free soon. Yi is still in awe of human heroes. Calamity plus Supreme Wang Quan plus Furious Bloodthirsty plus Burning Soul. The fastest way to play directly sent away the bronze level humanoid boss. Kill the level 3500 household chief Wei and bronze level experience plus 350000, get the bronze throne plus 1. The King of Wrath of Heaven has absorbed a ray of soul power that has condensed for thousands of years, silver level plus 2%. As expected, the soul absorbed by the humanoid boss can condense the soul power to upgrade the puppet. This is just ahead of 100 households. Wouldn't it be 1,000 households, Wanhaho or higher level? Yi let the King of Wrath of Heaven shatter all the barracks and wreckage of the general platform on the battlefield with a sword. Everything is ashes to ashes and ashes to ashes. I glanced at the panel, and actually received a long-lost upgrade prompt. Name, Yi. Occupation, Soul Puppeteer Unique. Level, 26 0.1%. Power, 350 plus 3700 Equipment plus 3500 Halo. Agility, 350 plus 3700 Equipment plus 3500 Halo. Spirit, 1050 plus 3700 Equipment plus 10500 Halo. Physique, 350 plus 3700 Equipment plus 3500 Halo. Equipment, Soul Thirsty Staff, Abyss Suit 5/5, Abyss Cloak, Abyss Ring, Dragon Ring, Greedy Necklace. Puppet, 1110. Talent, Sharing SSS level. Soul Skills, Infuse Soul level 3 plus 4, Burning Soul level 3 plus 4, Chasing Soul level 2 plus 4, Controlling Soul, Fierce Soul. Passive, Greed, Number of Summoned Objects x3. Equipment Skills, Reversal of Heaven and Earth, Absolute Domain, Flash, Dragon's Breath. 25 to 26, the increase in basic attributes and the number of puppets has increased again. Level 25 is a watershed, and there will be 5 levels in the future. Quote. Yi looked at the soul skills and skills, although each one is very strong. But compared with other occupations at level 25, the number of skills is relatively small. I can only blame myself for having a special profession and not being able to learn the skills of ordinary puppet masters. You can also get another soul skill by relying on the random skill scroll. The rest can only rely on the Wrath of the King. Throne, I must get the highest. It is difficult to acquire skills, so you can only rely on the second talent provided by the throne. The second talent and the level of the advanced Skywrath King, both of which must be completed in the copy of the throne. Feeling the urgency of time, Yi no longer stopped and rushed all the way north. It already has its eyes in the sky. The distribution of surrounding monsters and bosses can also be seen in a panoramic view. Regardless of whether it is ordinary or bronze level, as long as it is a boss, all of them will be won. 3 kills in 3 hours. It is absolutely efficient. There is only 1 bronze level throne increase and 3% puppet advancement. Okay, Yi was about to rush to the next target, but suddenly got a reminder that a group of Skywrath Legion had been killed. In the past, it was common for Skywrath warriors to be killed occasionally. But 3 fighters, 1 shaman and 1 mage were killed in less than 5 seconds before and after, which is very telling. Jumping to a hidden tree, Yibi carefully searched for several birds in sight. There are no traces. No need to ask, I must have met a PvP master. Although his Skywrath warrior attributes can no longer crush 30+ professionals. But to be defeated in a short time, the strength of the opponent is definitely the top of the 30+. From the starting point to here crossed 9 small maps. The previous one should be the boundary map. It shows that there is a high probability that it has already exceeded the scope of the Washa dungeon map. Although the throne copy does not specifically define the borders between countries. However, according to their own understanding, the contestants still gave a fuzzy boundary. Looking at the sea in the distance and the teleportation array at the sea, Yibi knows that there is a high probability that it has already entered the island group. After 2 to 3 maps to the northeast, you will enter the scope of the Cherry Blossom copy. Although the Northland had killed Sakura professionals before, it was all a land of endless snow. Occasionally there are deep forests and it is impossible to really hide the figure. But here the forest is densely covered, and the weather is hazy and foggy. It is the best choice for those professional criminals who are good at concealment. The Skywrath soldier who killed me in a short time is trying to force me to show up. The professionals in Sakura country really hold grudges. Think I can't find you? Yibi glanced at the King of Wrath of Heaven beside him. A toggle becomes puppet vision. It is hidden in the shadow of the big tree itself. Through the vision of the puppet, it can be seen that there are 5 red soul colors ambushing 100 meters ahead. 2 are underground, 1 is inside a tree, and 2 are actually suspended in midair. Sure enough, there are some means. The King of Wrath of Heaven walked towards the encirclement circle of 5 people with unchanging steps. At the same time, the fierce spirit has begun to move underground. When the king entered the range of the 2 underground professionals, the fierce soul exploded. The king also jumped up and rushed towards the 2 people in the air. He didn't care about the boomerang shot from the tree. The giant sword swept across, and 2 streams of blood flew out. Burning soul. Boom, boom, 2 beats to end the battle. The one in the tree wanted to slip away, but was caught by a silver arm. Burst. Didn't die. The King of Wrath of Heaven directly slapped him unconscious with a knife. Left and right reconnaissance again. After confirming that there is no fluctuation in soul power, Yibi slowly walked over. 3 sets of abyss sets, 4 weapons, 2 rings and 1 necklace. There are also 2 bronze thrones and 6 throne fragments. Glancing at the professional who had woken up but was still pretending to be asleep, Yibi kicked one of his front teeth away with a kick. Silver Summoner, you have been put on our must-kill list. Wash your neck and wait for the punishment of the great Sakura. Silver Summoner, what the hell name? Yibi was speechless for a while. A soldier can be killed but not humiliated. I will fight with you. This one also simply pulled out his short knife and made a sprint outfit. Yibi laughed secretly in his heart. How could this guy compete with those 2 in Yinbi? While talking hard, while preparing to escape. The backhand is a big punch. The remaining front tooth was also directly laid off. Who want? Nuopu wants to go. The front teeth are gone, and his speech leaks out. Even if the language system is unified, Zongbei still can't understand what he said. Slash and kill. If it is too close, the clothes will be dirty easily. Level 35 pieces of pure attack equipment, 2 rings and 1 necklace are also attributes of attack tendency. It's actually DPS, but the attack is just that. 1 dart hits 3000 HP of the King of Wrath of Heaven, the attack is absolutely fine. But it's really nothing compared to the 50,000 plus HP of the King of Wrath of Heaven. There is no harm in comparing, looking at the properties of several jewelry. Yibi didn't even have the desire to take a closer look. Sure enough, his character is good enough. Everything is excellent. Looking at the surrounding situation through the eyes of the sky, there is a volcano not far away. There should be a place where the bronze throne can be synthesized. According to the dungeon rules, throne fragments can be synthesized into bronze grade as long as they are in the high temperature underground. And when you reach the bronze level, you must be in a designated place to synthesize the silver level, and most of these places are guarded by guardian beasts. Seeing the bean-sized raindrops falling from the sky, Yi decided to go to the volcanic cave to rest first. Let's go when the rain stops. The first map is a sea area, which marks a gold-level sea beast boss. Most people will choose to avoid this special boss. It is true that it is too difficult to kill, and if you are not careful, it is easy to overturn the car or let the residual blood of the boss slip away. The ocean has always been dominated by sea beasts, and human professionals can compete with monsters even in the sky. But the sea is always a taboo place. If there is no soul, Yi may have to consider the cost-performance issue. But the existence of the fierce soul gave him the capital to kill sea beasts. But the heavy rain, obviously it's not good for him to make a move. Coming into the scorching volcanic cave, Yi smelled a faint smell of blood. The corpse of the dragon lizard next to the magma pool in the cave is still warm. Switching to the puppet field of view, there are still no hidden enemies. This enemy has something. The corners of Yi's mouth curled up slightly, and he pretended to know nothing and sat near the entrance of the cave. The cave is only so big that you can see every corner at a glance. The crimson magma pool is a natural light. The place where people can hide but cannot see the soul power from the puppet's vision is about to emerge. But Yi doesn't think anyone can hide in the magma pool for long. Since you are willing to play, then play with you. Time passed by, Yi took out the mineral water and poured a bottle. Throw it into the magma pool. With a thud, the mineral water bottle melted instantly. Lava pools are no problem. After drinking and eating, I looked outside when I was full. It was raining. Yi decided to help him. Send the King of Wrath of Heaven to a position far away from the entrance of the cave. And he dozed off as it opened against the warm volcanic cave wall. Gudu, gudu. In the cave, there is only the sound of the magma pool from time to time. Goo. Before the beep sounded, a lightning-fast figure suddenly attacked Yi. The green poisonous dagger was less than 1 centimeter away from his throat. Control the soul. Chasing souls. Transposition. The King of Wrath of Heaven slapped it out with a palm. The petite figure was sent flying more than 10 meters away from the cave. Yi watched the ghostly figure disappear into the misty drizzle, the corners of his mouth raised again. He is definitely here on a temporary basis, so the possibility that the other party has been here waiting for him is ruled out. And that small dragon lizard boss should be bronze rank. This person must have been injured if he killed the boss solo. That faint smell of blood is definitely not the smell of the salamander. Yi turns on vision sharing for this person. It can be seen that she has staggered a little. He is not tall, but he has a good figure. The most special thing is that the surrounding raindrops seem to be unable to fall on her. Is this equipment or ability? If it is equipment, this equipment can also insulate the high temperature of magma, which is not easy. The rain gradually stopped, and the female assassin found a big tree not far from the teleportation array by the sea and began to treat the wound. Yi feasts their eyes on shared vision. If you refuse to take medicine, you are really cruel to yourself. Yi also had to admire this female assassin. It is said that this kind of injury can be solved directly by taking a blood pack or a medicine Jiao Nuohao to clear the state. She couldn't even bear to use this CD. After resting for another 10 minutes, the female assassin walked towards the teleportation array. When Yi saw it, it was actually the same map as the sea beast map he was going to. Without hesitation, he got up and followed. This kind of natural pathfinder is useless. In order not to be discovered, Yi deliberately separated the transmission time by 2 minutes. The field of view is still there after passing the picture. The female assassin is still within the scope of chasing souls. It shows that the straight line distance between the two maps does not exceed 5,000 meters. Since chasing souls can cross maps, wouldn't it be possible for Tianu Legion too? Yi wrote down this information first, and will study it carefully when he has time. The puppet master's secret tactics seem to have a new direction. Pressing down on this idea in his heart, through the female assassin's field of vision, Yi saw that the group of 10 was encircling and suppressing a Naga siren covered in golden scales. The 10-member group cooperated tacitly, and the two kept interrupting and interfering with Naga's group damage skills. MT is not a regular warrior or knight, but a legal professional standing in a formation. This body is connected to the Naga by an incorporeal black chain. Most of the damage Naga caused to him was returned to him. Occasionally, the Murloc mob summoned by the Naga will be immediately taken over by the soldiers in the team. At this time, the female assassin has entered a hidden state and merged with the water body. Yi Bi, who was already preparing to attack, retreated to the other side of the teleportation array. The Skywrath Legion was left on the opposite side by more than 100. All the rest are here to stay on standby at any time. Since the copy has this kind of bug, there is no reason not to use it to play. The moment he returned, the female assassin made a move. She quickly cut off the black chain on Naga's body, and knocked down the legal MT with a backhand. A series of actions are flowing like clouds and flowing water, without any sloppiness. Yi Bi saw the whole process from her perspective. I have to admit that this woman is the most ruthless and decisive among the assassins I have seen. Nightingale, you don't want to run away this time. Facing the Golden Naga's counterattack, the 10-member group lost one member and was beaten in a hurry. The team leader was nothing more than a verbal denunciation. The 9 people had no choice but to move closer to the teleportation array by the sea, leaving the right and wrong first. Nightingale was also preparing to leave. But she stood still at this time. Because more than 100 silver-armored warriors suddenly appeared in front of her. The 9 professionals from Sakura country were also frightened by this scene. This is the encounter with the silver armor summoner in the Legend of China. Honey, you're finally here. Quick, kill these trash, we'll grab the Golden Naga. Nightingale reacted very quickly and turned around to kill the 9 people. Yi Bi didn't expect this wonderful female assassin to play such a trick. But off-the-shelf bargains are not for nothing. More than 100 Skywrath fighters directly attacked the 9 Sakura country professionals. Even if the opponent is well trained, facing such a large number of enemies is a moment when the state is not good after a big battle. They can only flee for their own lives. However, the Golden Naga is not going to let them go. The determination of hatred is still the 9 professions that cause the most damage to it. Seeing that the overall situation has been decided, the King of Wrath of Heaven stepped across the teleportation array. Burning Soul sent away the 9 people with residual blood. After several self-destruct attacks and more than 100 meteor fire rains, the Golden Naga, who was already at a low HP, was also successfully killed. Kill a level 35 Golden Naga, rare gold level, kill judgment, experience plus 450000, Golden Throne plus 1. Obtain. Naga's Horn, 3/3, increases combat attributes by 200% in the water area, and is immune to water magic damage for 15 minutes. It actually dropped a piece of consumables, worthy of a rare boss. Nightingale took advantage of the chaos and hid in the water, using her own hidden characteristics to fish in troubled waters to escape this encounter. However, she was mercilessly fished out of the water by the Skywrath King, who was marked by the chasing soul. Don't kill me, I have 3/4 of Chinese blood. Smart people. Yi Bi stepped out of the teleportation array, looking at Nightingale, who gave up resistance completely. Not only is she petite, but she also looks like a pure Lolita. 3/4 of Chinese blood is not enough to buy your life. Nightingale gritted her teeth and took out a tube of potion. Concealed fusion potion, which can integrate itself with non-solid objects. It will not disappear until it enters a combat state. Yi Bi never thought that this ability was actually a potion. But because the 2 sides are not familiar with each other, he can't believe it. I am a diamond-level alchemist of the Alchemy Association, and only I can make shit with this potion. Nightingale knew that she couldn't impress the other party with her own words. And as long as the other party has the slightest suspicion, blood will be splashed on the spot in a second. She had no doubts about the decisiveness of the handsome man in front of her. After all, the colleges and universities in Sakura country have gone crazy before. The pre-quest of the throne, the team in the northern region was almost wiped out. The culprit was the Chinese professional who was called the Silver Summoner. I thought he was a level 40 expert in the security team. It turned out that he was also a member of the throne tournament like himself. Seeing Yi Bi approaching with a gloomy face, Nightingale knew that if she didn't come up with another bargaining chip, she was afraid that she would meet with that team member. I can sign a blood contract. Be your servant. Looking at the contract scroll exuding fluctuations in soul power in front of him, Yi Bi looked at the girl kneeling in front of her. Are you an alchemist? Hidden professional blood alchemist. My ability is to use different blood to refine medicine and obtain the ability in blood. Yi Bi imagined this ability, very powerful. As long as you have high-level blood, there are infinite possibilities. Even those who are hard-to-live skill professionals dared to participate in the throne tournament. This is equivalent to having different combat professions at the same time. Seeing that Yi Bi didn't make a move immediately, Nightingale bit her finger and signed a famous minister with soul power on the contract. 3 years. Yi Bi looked at the time that appeared on the blood contract, and it was only 3 years. Nightingale gritted her teeth. I also have my own mission. I can serve you wholeheartedly for 3 years. Give me back my freedom after 3 years. If I were a slave for a lifetime, I would rather die now. Yi Bi didn't think the other party would sit still, but he wasn't interested in having a little Lolita be his slave for the rest of his life either. I am not a pervert. Sign the name, but it should directly turn into 2 light spots and enter the eyebrows of the 2. Name: Nightingale. Occupation: Blood Alchemist. Hidden occupation. Level: Level 33, 12.5%. Strength: 330 plus 2000. Equipment plus 300. Potion. Agility: 330 plus 2000. Equipment plus 1500. Potion. Spirit: 330 plus 2000. Equipment plus 300. Medicine. Physique: 330 plus 2000. Equipment plus 300. Medicine. Equipment: Green Poison Dagger, Abyss Set 5/5, Alchemist Cloak. Talent: Blood Dao SS level, very sensitive to blood. Taking potions made from your own blood can get 5 times the effect. Status: Yi Bi's loyal servant. 1093 days. This talent is also strong enough. No wonder he dared to enter the dungeon alone. You choose these few pieces of jewelry, and then you will develop into sneak attack and reconnaissance. Yi Bi throws the few pieces of jewelry she got earlier to Nightingale. Only then did Nightingale feel that becoming Yi Bi's servant was not so difficult to accept. The benefits come right away. Where is the master going to hunt? Nightingale naturally entered the role. Is there any dragon-type boss or human form boss worth killing here? 3 pictures later, there is a Yamata no Orochi, but local professionals regard it as a guardian, at least diamond level. Set off. Hearing that it is a diamond level, don't say anything about guardians, even their ancestors have to be killed. The scene in the copy of the throne cannot be seen by the outside world. However, according to the level and quantity of the throne at the entrance of the dungeon, you can roughly know what level of throne has appeared. After Bai Lao opened the teleportation, he handed over this place to Mo Xuan. Many tutors at the school would come over to watch the excitement as long as they didn't perform their tasks. After all, the annual throne tournament is a hot spot that everyone pays attention to. Whose student gets the throne of what level? After all, it marks the probability of being able to become a god in the future. Teacher, is Yi Bi the only freshman participating this year? Leng Ruohan asked, standing behind Qin Yunfeng. Well, it means that he meets the requirements. You guys will definitely be able to do it next year, as long as the level exceeds 35. There is a gold class appearing. And Xueqing saw a light that marked the gold rank light up. It means that a gold level throne has appeared within the scope of Huasha Dungeon. Before the first day is over, I have hunted for the gold rank throne. It seems that it is expected to hit the diamond. Based on previous year's experience, Qin Yunfeng judged that there is a high probability that there will be a diamond level throne in Huasha today. This is only the first day. Those professional players who defend the point haven't made a move yet. The last 2 days of the battle for hegemony are the darkest time to kill crazy. Feng Wuji said, based on the experience of those who have experienced it. In the copy of the throne, Yi Bi summoned the dragon mount. The envious Nightingale almost drooled. Master, with this mount, I will be able to reach the old lair of Yamata no Orochi before dark. Nightingale thought it would be tomorrow at the earliest. Is there any professional team over there worth mentioning? Although Yi Bi doesn't care about the professions he's about to face, he can win easily by knowing himself and the enemy. The first thing to pay attention to is Princess Sakura's team. The professional team Princess Waiu with all the top 35 ranks has the strength to attack the gold level boss alone. The second is, Nightingale was very familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of the professionals in the Sakura country, and she told more than 20 people from top to bottom. Stop, there's no need to talk about those cats and dogs. Just use the Golden Naga group as the standard. Yi Bi is really not interested in knowing those passers by A and B. After thinking for a moment, Nightingale shook her head and said, that's all. The level of Sakura country this year is also uneven, the strong ones are very strong, and the weak ones are really weak. Yi Bi suddenly remembered the 5-member team that he had killed before, so he described the configuration and combat habits of the next 5-member team. That should be a member of the Shadow Department. The invisibility potion they use is a simplified version made by me. Nightingale blushed for a while. Won't it cause any bad consequences to the owner? Regarding Yamada no Orochi, Yasan also mentioned it in the information, but because it was deep in the sub-map of Sakura country, it was not described emphatically. Just mentioned that these 8-headed and 8-tailed monsters are hard to kill. 8 heads and 8 tails must be severed in order to be completely beheaded successfully. Help me make some spirits commonly used by warriors. Yi Bi suddenly said to Nightingale beside him. How much? Although Nightingale didn't understand why she asked herself to make such a low-level potion, she still asked AGDF the quantity. The more the merrier. Along the way, Nightingale made more than 100 bottles of spirit potions. Okay. Yi Bi distributes the potion of spirits to different Skyrath warriors. Passed through 3 maps all the way. Finally, it appeared in a teleportation array full of cherry blossoms. The purpose of entering is a few not-so-high hills, and a shrine altar can be vaguely seen in the distance. There is a team of people guarding the entrance of the shrine every year, and they are members of the Sakura Professional Asian League. Wasting 5 spots here every year. Yi Bi really doesn't understand the brain circuit of this cherry blossom country. Well, so they must be dealt with as soon as possible, otherwise professionals will come to make trouble. They will not kill Yamada no Orochi, but they can destroy us and kill them. Nightingale reminded. Is there such a good thing? Yi Kitahara wanted to make a quick decision, but I heard that other professionals would come to his door. What nonsense is that? They must be warned. Anyone who does not issue a warning is shot dead. You find a hidden place outside and hide. Yi Bi put Nightingale down, and led the natural army toward the shrine gate. Sakura Kingdom protects the land of holy beasts, please retreat quickly. Sure enough, as soon as Yi Bi entered the opponent's field of vision, a big fireball hit him not far in front of him. Fool, more than a dozen meteor fire showers exploded directly behind him, 1 second first. Enemy attack. It's the Silver Armor Summoner. One of the other 4 people who sprints plus dodges is called fast. The remaining 3 were directly chopped down by more than 100 Skyrath fighters. The fight ends in less than 10 seconds. A few groups of Skyrath Legion were left standing guard at the door. All others are summoned to the inside of the shrine. Let those Skyrath fighters with spirits enter the altar first. Boom. Underfoot. After shaking for a while, several Skyrath fighters were directly swallowed. Yi Bi could see the huge body and the huge snake head that came out from a distance. It does match the legendary Yamada no Orochi with 8 heads and 8 tails. There is a high probability that it is a doppelganger, with its own physical body to form an independent consciousness. The real Yamada no Orochi has to be god level anyway. Quote. After waiting for half a minute, the natural army began to press in. The evil spirits lead the way. Supreme Wang Quan has not stopped. The Skyrath warrior first used his skills and then blew himself up. After this set, the entire altar was directly blown flat. 3 of the 8 heads of Yamada no Orochi were blown off, and 5 tails were also lost. Roar, roar, roar. The remaining snake heads uttered a beast-like cry. New granulation began to grow slowly at the broken part of the body. Then the snake head and tail appeared again at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, the sound of the whole came out. Professionals began to gather from all directions outside. Although not many, at first glance there are as many as 30 or 40. Among them, 3 teams are obviously well-trained professional teams. Even with support coming, the camp is still in order. Have you contacted the headquarters? Yamamoto-kun not yet, contacting Her Royal Highness's team. Are you sure it's the Silver Armor Summoner? Sure, very sure. Yoshi, today is the glory day of my 3rd team, brothers follow me. Yamamoto was the first to pull out the sword and made a kill gesture. Outside the door, The King of Wrath of Heaven is sitting in person, and inside, Yibi is constantly using his soul skills to consume. The reason why he didn't kill him immediately was to see if his previous thoughts were correct. And the Sakura professionals haven't come here yet, so if you kill Yamada no Orochi and scare people away, it won't be fun. Silver Armor Summoner of Washa, you are already surrounded by us. Hurry up and catch him, maybe Her Royal Highness will give you a lighter punishment. Yibi was overwhelmed by the yelling. Still surround me. Just your shrimp soldiers and crab generals. Then let you see what encirclement is. The Skywrath Legion that came out. Following the order of the King of Skywrath, hundreds of Skywrath warriors suddenly rushed out of the surrounding area. Directly drive the charge, just like the Cherry Blossom professionals rush. Tactics. Unnecessary. Absolutely violent soldiers. Do you need tactics to deal with this kind of ordinary team? I can't afford to lose that person. Save me, add me. Shield wall, invincible, don't be stingy with life-saving skills, the opponent is too fierce. My remaining blood is passive, they are desperate, they blow me up. Ah, Your Royal Highness. The world is quiet for 3 minutes. The nightingale in the distance almost didn't call 666. A powerful aura came from far away. Nightingale knew that 10 walks were the top 5 teams from the headquarters. Yibi also felt this different atmosphere through the King of Wrath of Heaven. But unlike Nightingale, he just felt slightly different. Seeing that the speed of the Yamada no Orochi's rebirth of the snake's head began to slow down significantly. Finally, it was determined that spirits had a good effect on suppressing its rebirth. His Royal Highness Princess Sakura headquarters, the 1st and 3rd Samurai regiments have come to seek advice from Ginka-kun. The leading samurai drew 3 long swords. It's actually 3 swords. You thought you were Sauron. Yibi gets angry when she sees this pretended look. Straight to the natural disaster. Element Sha chain lightning to keep up. Heaven and earth flow sword and shadow dance. The leader warrior actually rushed to the front alone, cutting off all the lightning chains with indistinguishable slashes. Interesting. Yibi finally became interested. Here, use the vicious soul to grind that stupid big guy first. Focus on the samurai group outside the door. Supreme Wang Quan. Facing countless flying swords with soul power. The opponent did not make a hard catch again, but raised his hand to signal his teammates behind him to start. Susanoo. Formation up. A Susanoo looms over the head of the samurai group. Directly use the body to connect countless soul power flying swords. 3 regiments of formation mages, enter the formation. Seeing that Susanoo began to fade away, the team leader immediately asked the other group to join the battle. At that time, the formation of 20 people from the 2 groups, Susanoo stood up again. A mere soul power dares to be a cart. Yibi saw that the other party's Susanoo was also condensed with soul power, so don't be afraid. Fierce soul. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.